Tyson Fury, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez. Just hearing these names makes you think money and the hundreds of millions of dollars, pounds or Saudi riyals in boxing. But that's at the top. At the bottom, it isn't quite the same. Even for those on the rise, there's not an awful lot of cash in the boxing world. And if you're just starting out, well, it can be a very costly exercise indeed. But don't take my word for it. Here's the former European champion, talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver.
You're turning professional and you're boxing, let's say, York Hall on a non-televised fight. You have to sell tickets to earn any money, but you have to cover the wages of your opponent as well. So if you don't have the ability to be able to sell enough tickets, you effectively have to pay to fight.
A far cry then from Jake Paul facing Mike Tyson in 2024, when the purse was reported to be around £48 million. But the vast amounts of cash lining the top dog's pockets isn't the norm in a typical fight.
Let's say you're lucky and you get between 5 and 10 grand. You're going to get 10 grand max for that. 10% goes to the trainer, 25% goes to the manager. Then we've got the tax man to pay as well. So we're cutting that money in at least half. So now you've got 5 grand for a 10-week camp. So you're talking about a guy here earning, he might be clearing 500 quid a week. How do you support a family on that? So boxers chase the dream. And, you know, there's probably 2% of them that actually make it.
So say you do make it and you start to rise up the ranks. Strikers Boxing, a training academy, says the mid-tier fighters can earn more, somewhere between £10,000 and £50,000 a fight, depending on record, profile, opponent and popularity of weight class. It's only at the top level does the real cash start flowing in, with the top-tier professionals, i.e. those going for titles, earning 6 figures a fight. Something else you'll have heard of is the terms prize fighter or journeyman. A prize fighter is, as it sounds, someone who picks up fights where they can and gets a nice big check if they win. Journeymen are the fighters who take on up-and-comers, effectively used for experience in the ring. Even if they're going up against the real prospects, a young Anthony Joshua, for example, these guys will be lucky to earn more than 10 grand. So the average boxer isn't as rich as you'd think.
Welcome to it. Saturday night, back on the radio, getting stuck into all things fight sports. It is fight night. I'm Adam Cattrall. Gareth A. Davies is alongside me. It is action-packed from start to finish. We have got a really stacked guest list. Double Josh tonight. We've got Josh Buatsi and Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly, the latter of that, being in the studio for half an hour. We're also going to be speaking to Callum Simpson, the British Commonwealth European 168-pound champion. He's going to be on the show. We're also going to be doing a bit of double trouble because you may have seen on social media Gavin, Gwyn and Cameron Vuong going at each other. They want to get a rematch on. We want to get a rematch on. I'm sure you want to get a rematch on. So they're going to join us both at the same time on the show a little bit later on to discuss the possibilities of doing that in the not-too-distant future. We're going to talk heavyweights because next week we're going to be bringing you Moses Itauma and Dillian Whyte live on talkSPORT. And we're going to talk about Ben Shalom and Boxer's new TV deal. So make sure you stick with us. We are streaming live now on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel where you can get stuck in. The comment section is open. Come and join us for the best boxing conversation on the radio.
A lot of people are basically just saying, like, yeah, I'm going to knock him out.
Moses Itauma can take him out right now.
And, like, I probably would.
Everyone tells me that he is the future.
This kid is going to be the next face of British boxing.
I've said this from the beginning, from when he was 18, 19. He's it. He is it.
Moses Itauma!
I keep proving people wrong and it's kind of weird. I'm going to have to prove them right this time.
Continue. Moses Itauma
Ready to dust up and have it.
This fight here, make or break.
Let's go! I'm ready!
Live on talkSPORT next week, we're going to be bringing you Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte, set for an absolute cracking night in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Gareth, pleasure, my man. I know we've had a little bit of time away from each other. We've been on various sunbeds around the world, catching a few rays, but it's time to get back to work because there's some serious boxing schedule ahead of us.
Yeah, some great stuff going on, and it's nice to be taking in. We've been in a broom cupboard for about 3.5 months as well compared to this. So I'm just taking in the new environs, the milieu that we're having in the new studio. It's my first time in the new studio.
Likewise.
It feels really good. Feels like a big show tonight. We've got a massive show in Riyadh. I'm heading out there on Tuesday. Spencer and the boys have already headed over. John Rawling turns up next weekend. And it's going to be a really big event in Riyadh because it's a coming out party for Moses Itauma. I say coming out party. He's got a big test ahead of him. This is the first big test against a world level opponent. He may not be world level anymore, but it's a really fine week that we're looking forward to, and it's a great card.
I think from a fight fan's point of view, the fight next weekend, the main event next weekend, on paper is fantastic matchmaking because you've got an opportunity here for the hottest prospect in the heavyweight division, maybe in the whole of world boxing, to get himself a commercial name on his resume. And you've also got an opportunity for that commercial name, who is a little bit more experienced, we can say that, to derail that hype train and get himself back at the top table. Because with all due respect, since losing to Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte has looked a little bit sluggish. He's looked a little bit slow in his last three. I've seen some fantastic tape of him this week that kind of implies that he's taken this one seriously and got himself in some sensational shape, which he's absolutely going to need. So therefore, on paper, it looks a really interesting matchup, and I'm sure throughout the whole course of the week on talkSPORT, we'll be talking about the the ahs, the zigs and the zags of how this fight might play out. But as I look at it, I see two guys with very varying levels of skill. And I see the younger man having the higher level of skill. The questions that I have isn't whether he will win this fight next weekend. It's at what stage he wins this and what questions he's going to be asked along the way. Because one thing that we can absolutely not doubt in Dillian Whyte is his will to have a fight. Can he drag Moses Itauma into a proper scrap?
Yeah, it's very interesting. All the points you make are very well made, and they are on two escalators going in different directions, and where those escalators meet on the way up and down is the fascinating thing about the entire week. Moses Itauma headlining in an event that's at Riyadh season, that's part of the esports week, that he's going to have to carry things. He looked very good on Hawksby and Jacobs, excuse me, on Thursday. I thought he answered very well. So far, he's looked meticulous in his thinking. I spoke to him with the national newspaper media in a round table for 40 minutes as well, and he feels very strong, he feels very resonant, very resolute that he's up against a guy. We know this anyway, excuse me, that he's taking Dillian Whyte very seriously. He has to. This is the first major name on his resume. The hype train, as you call it, has been big, but it's been fulsome. It's been
worthy.
But it's also garnered from what we all hear behind the scenes about his sparring, about, from 15 years of age, he's been in with the very best, that he can take a lick in sparring, that he's got all the right attitude. Last week, I positioned myself with Moses in terms of saying that I believe he has the right kind of arrogance right now. There's just a slight arrogance about the young man that is absolutely right for where he is. I think he believes that he can go all the way. He wants to be. We've seen already in some interviews where Ben Davison has been very good for him. I think he's with the right team. The Ben Davison Performance Centre in Harlow has the middle, the beginning and the end. It has Anthony Joshua. It has Fabio Wardley. It had Moses Itauma, all different stages, and Jamie TKV as well. It's a really resonant stable with a lot of up-and-coming fighters. I've been there myself, and the atmosphere is... You've been to Ben Davison's Performance Centre in Harlow. It's very strong. The whole thing is about, can Moses Itauma be tested as a headline eventer, a guy that's carrying the card in many ways, and against a guy who is coming to earn $2 million. Yes, he is a kind of sacrificial name in promotionally in some ways. You mentioned commercial fight twice there. It's a big commercial fight. it's a big coming out party for his name, Moses Itauma, because the whole world's going to be watching. I think he can get the job done. I think he wins the fight. I know we're going to go into it in more detail. But if Moses is taken beyond 5-6 rounds, I think it's a 12-rounder. People have been talking about it as a 10-rounder. I think it's a 12-rounder.
I've got it down as a 12, yeah.
Yeah, I've got it down as a 12-rounder. I think on boxrec.com it is a 12-rounder. If Moses is taken beyond 5-6 rounds, we've got a good fight on our hands, and because Moses should be able to land, because Dillian's style and Moses' style, like you say, matchmaking is very good here for Moses Itauma. He's very fast, probably the fastest hands in the heavyweight division right now, so he ought to get the job done.
We'll big up Dillian in a minute because he is absolutely a lad dog in this fight. But let's hear from Moses, shall we? Because you mentioned a moment or two ago that he was on with H&J this week, and this is what he had to say.
Honestly, I just remember I was sitting in my bedroom, and my manager rang me and he said, "Do you want to fight Dillian Whyte for this amount of money?" And I said, "Yes, let's lock in that date." And I didn't hesitate. I didn't, because it's like, this is what I want. Do you get what I mean? This is why I'm in boxing for. I'm not here to keep obviously like fighting people I won't get no recognition for. And I feel like with Dillian Whyte, a win over him could obviously definitely boost me into something. But I just don't really understand, like, I don't know if it's boxing fans or if it's just people in general. Like when it comes to like my career, yeah, it's like everybody thinks I'm gonna blast Dillian Whyte out the waters, but then no other heavyweight thinks like that. People didn't think Tyson Fury was gonna knock Dillian Whyte out, like blast him out the waters. People don't think Joseph Parker is gonna blast Dillian Whyte out, like what not. But then they think that I will be able to do it. But then I'm not ready for Joseph Parker and Usyk.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm not really worrying about what people are saying. Just doing my job and get paid.
He's absolutely right not to be concerned about... Yeah, it was. He's absolutely right not to be concerned about what other people are saying. And listen, people will have their opinions of how they think this fight is going to play out next weekend. I would not be surprised if that hand speed and his elite talent does blast Dillian Whyte out early. I will also not be surprised if we get to round 6 and and Dillian Whyte's still there because he's incredibly resilient and he's been asked some different questions. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes the distance. What my take regarding surprise in this fight, it would be if Dillian Whyte was to have his hand raised. However, what I will say on Dillian Whyte's point, if we're going to maybe make a case for him, experience does count in these particular moments. And he has been there, done it, got the T-shirt. Yeah, he's lost some, but he's been in there and he's got some very good signature wins. He obviously overcame the adversity of being knocked out by Alexander Povetkin. The key one is the Joseph Parker fight, because that's probably the most similar I could probably make towards this that he's about to face with Itauma, with Joseph Parker having, he's incredibly good feet and incredibly fast hands. And if you remember that fight, Parker was good early doors. He was a lot faster than Dillian Whyte. Dillian stayed in the fight and he outdogged him. He outdogged him down the back end of the fight and got the job done. Maybe that is going to be the tactic that we see on Saturday night from Dillian.
Moses had 12 fights. He's boxed 25 rounds in the ring. Dillian's 192, nearly 200 rounds, so 8 times his experience. And you can kind of say that. Yeah. You know, I know he's at 37 years young right now, and Moses is still 20, and he's chasing those records of Floyd Patterson and George Foreman and Ali, and obviously he's missed the Mike Tyson youngest heavyweight champion ever, and, you know, obviously Turki Al-Sheikh was trying to push that at one point and get him in the ring with one of the world champions. But I think Dillian's being paid very well for this. Like you say, all the tape, as we call it, all the footage of him, everything online, he looks in phenomenal shape. There's no belly. The legs are big. No. When his legs are big, he always looks good. Buddy McGirt's a great trainer. They will have a game plan. They know that that left hand that Moses is shaping, he's done people with that left hand so far. That, like Alexander Usyk, he creates angles. He's one of the few southpaw heavyweights. Obviously, Zhile Zhang is out there as one as well, and they create different angles, and they will land and they will shock you. But they will work hard on his left hook, on being aggressive, on closing the space, of not trundling around the ring, because he can't afford to do that. But whether Moses allows him to do that, we don't know. I think, like you say, I agree with you. Wouldn't surprise me if Moses hit him hard, fast and early. and got him out of there. Wouldn't surprise me if Dillian Whyte uses his experience to old man him. But I think what he needs to do in fight week, and this is what I'm looking forward to, don't play it down. Don't dumb it down. He dumbed it down against Tyson Fury in the build-up to that fight. Didn't say a lot. Didn't turn up for the press conference. Only did his demanded things on the contract. Remember the absences of Dillian.
You want to see him get into Moses?
I want to see him get stuck into Moses. I want to see him sledge Moses. I want to see him smack talk Moses and say, listen, son, I'm going to bash you around there. I've got a son who's older than you. Dillian's got a son who's 23. I'm going in there to old man you to beat you up. Get into him a little bit mentally and see what Moses is made of.
Well, stick with us, because there's going to be ramifications that comes off the back of this fight, obviously, with what happens next for the victor, what happens next for the division. There's a lot of talk in the heavyweight division at the moment. There's not a lot of matchups being made. There's a lot of guys, obviously, that have not been scheduled between now and the end of the year, and we're going to start picking the bones out of that. Do stick with us. We're on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel if you want to come and join us, and you can come and join the show on 03717 22 33 44. This is Fight Night Live. As ever on a Saturday night, trans tunes are out because Gareth A. Davis is in the studio. He chooses the selection. That's how we get down. You can tune into the show on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. I'm Adam Catterall. Gareth A. Davis is alongside me. We're talking all things fight sports. Boxing mainly. A little bit of MMA maybe sprinkled in there at some point. But lots to talk about in the world of boxing, especially next week when we bring you live commentary of Moses Itauma and Dillian Whyte, which is coming to you live from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. The team will be on the ground to bring you the commentary, and we'll have a live watch-along for you too. Now, we just picked the bones out of the main event. Fantastic main event on paper, and hopefully we get an absolute cracking fight next weekend. But there's going to be ramifications that come off the back of that fight, which then hopefully gives us some type of roadmap in the heavyweight division, Gareth. Now, we know who the king is. The king is Mr. Usyk. There's going to be conversations, definitely, next week. Let's say Moses Itauma is absolutely fantastic. We've already seen Turki Al-Sheikh's tweet where he's talking about, let's get Moses Itauma in with Alexander Usyk. Personally, I don't want any of that conversation. And this is nothing on Moses Itauma, because I think Moses Itauma is a fantastic talent. I think he's going to be the guy for years to come. There's no doubt about that. And I have this saying where we just make the best fights. I'm not bothered about, whether people are old enough, whether or whatever.
Well, we'll come to that.
But
I'll put some pressure on you over that.
Yeah, but I'm a believer in meritocracy. It's not my attitude towards not making Moses Itauma and Alexander Usyk isn't on whether Moses Itauma is good enough to fight Alexander Usyk. It's because there's other guys that have earned the right to do it. Joseph Parker.
Roadmap. You said roadmap.
Ajit Caballero. Go on. So if he wins next weekend, are you all for him fighting Alexander Usyk?
No. If Moses Itauma wins next weekend, and if Dillian Whyte wins next weekend, the winner of that fight should fight Joseph Parker, in my view, for the WBO title that I believe Alexander Usyk will relinquish. I think that's what will happen, because if you look at the chess game, at the chessboard at the moment, and it is staggering at the moment that outside Arslanbek Makhmudov and Dave Allen, Moses Itauma and Dillian Whyte and Filip Hrgovic and David Adeleye, there's no other heavyweights in the top 15 who are slated to fight at the moment. I know we've just had Usyk fighting, Okolie fighting, Dubois fighting, and that's about it. But there's about 12 there that need lining up with fights, including Anthony Joshua and
Well, they've all
Tyson
been waiting
Fury.
for the movement at the top, haven't they?
But my point is, I think, given that tweet by the all-powerful Saudi Arabians and Turki Al-Sheikh and Ring Magazine and Riyadh Season don't want to do Joseph Parker and Alexander Usyk, and I agree with you on this, it should be him now. Yep. It should be Parker and Usyk. They're not interested in it. So
Why?
I don't know the reasons why. It doesn't make any sense to me, but...
Be fine.
But following the money, if you like, or following the chessboard, Moses fights Parker this year, in my view, Joseph Parker for the WBO.
Okay.
For the vacant WBO.
Or will they upgrade Joseph Parker because he's an interim title holder? Whatever. What you're saying is that
it'll be for the
Usyk
belt.
will relinquish the belt.
And I think Joseph Parker, and I think these are even things, if I'm thinking it, they're thinking it in the background, okay? Unless we suddenly get an announcement that Usyk's fighting Parker. My understanding on Usyk is he might have one more and be done. I'd like him to have 2 or 3 more. I know you disagree. So Moses may end up fighting Alexander Usyk in the spring of next year if he beat Joseph Parker. Does he beat Joseph Parker? Come on. We've only got 3 hours.
It's a tight fight, but given eye test, from what I've seen, I would probably edge him, yes.
Right, so let's say Turki Al-Sheikh, he's already nailed his colours to the mast and he wants Alexander Usyk to fight Moses Itauma before the era is done. And there's Tyson Fury in a third fight floating in the background, maybe. But really, we want Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury to finish the era here in Britain. Then if we get Moses against Alexander Usyk, because they've offered Alexander Usyk $120 million to fight the coming force, which is Moses Itauma, meritocratically, commercially, giant fights, changing of eras, I think we see Moses against Usyk if they can get Usyk in a ring by April, May next year.
Well, the roadmap that you've just laid out then makes an awful lot of sense. I'm talking next. Yeah. I'm talking that if they come on Saturday night, Moses Itauma looks brilliant. Right, he's fighting Usyk.
Joseph Parker.
Yes.
Joseph Parker. It's not Usyk next because he's not ready.
Right. So, he might be ready, but what I'm saying is that there's other people that have earned the right. But what I'm saying is if he goes through one of those people that have earned that right, then all of a sudden he's the guy.
Yeah. I think he beats Parker as well.
It's not easy, that, because Joseph is flying right now, isn't he?
It's not easy, but I still think it's a very hard fight for Moses. Parker's probably the most experienced heavyweight outside Usyk
and in form
that he's going to face right now. I mean, I don't see many other harder fights than that for him outside Usyk. Obviously, Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua might be
Caballero
as well, a tough night. But if Moses is able to enact everything that he's capable of, and he is this kind of super id fighter.
Okay. Let me throw some.
Okay.
Right.
So
because you're talking politically there, right? So therefore,
I'm not talking politically. I'm just talking promotionally.
No, yeah, but there's politics in. Obviously, the WBO have ordered Usyk against Parker. They've ordered that. That's been called. It's the next one along.
And they've got a few days, and they'll have to vacate.
So let's say it is vacant. What's Usyk doing in this time? Is he not doing anything? Is he just waiting? Is he just waiting for the pieces to fall into place?
He's got so much money,
right?
And he's got so much resonance now. He's buying up large tracts of land and building his empire.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's spending time with his family, as you know. He's enjoying himself. He's being resolute as a hero for the Ukrainian people, all of those things. But he's just looking at the landscape, because the landscape...
Okay, so then, brilliant. This is great. So you're saying that he's not going to do anything for now. He's not holding the division up, which is great, fantastic. He's allowing the WBO to crack on. So Josie Parker gets his shot at a world title, and you're saying that might be Moses Itauma that he takes on. What happens with the WBC element of this with Kabayel, who's also waiting?
They'll let him keep the belts. Kabayel, he might even vacate that belt. Kabayel will be given a deal by the WBC. I understand he's going to have a fight in Germany.
Okay.
We don't know who yet, but it could be a Bacoli. It could be
Lawrence Okoli?
Or an Okoli or a Bacoli, all the Olis. So we're starting to...
Well, as long as there's movement.
We need some movement, because
we do.
Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Fabio Wardley, Fabio Wardley, Deontay Wilder, Zhile Zhang, Ajit Kabayel, Joe Joyce, Derek Chisora, Jarrell Miller, Martin Bacoli. None of those have got a fight scheduled at the moment.
Was Miller not... Listen, I hate talking about Miller after what he did, but was Miller not...
So he should be excommunicated from the sport.
Yeah, the Jared Anderson fight, was he not supposed to be fighting him? I thought that they were supposed to be pitted together. Has that fallen through? The battle of the big babies.
That may be on the cards, actually.
Listen, all those names that you mentioned, there's a lot of guys that have been there, done it, and got the T-shirt, but there's also a lot of new wave there. The likes of the Anthony Joshuas and Tyson Furies. Listen, for me, they're fighting each other, right?
Absolutely agree with you. That's what should be happening.
I like what you've just said regarding the Josie Parker scenario, as long as he's gotten a shot at the world title, fine. From an Ajit Kabayel point of view, listen, I'm not against the Lawrence Okoli. Lawrence Okoli has managed to get himself into the number one contender spot with the WBC, so maybe make an eliminator fight there, of which then will put them in line for the WBC element of that title. And I think that's important, because there is this bottleneck. We've been waiting for such a long time for movement, and if we start to get movement, we start to get some of these fights started to get made, then fantastic. I think there's commercial fights, but then there's fights that obviously move the division on. The most important one for me, and I've been banging it for ages, this drum, is that Joseph Parker gets his shot at a world title because he's earned it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do agree with you on that, Adam, and he will. He is in a great position. He's in a great position with Spencer Brown, who's Tyson Fury's manager, and Ajit Kabayel's manager. In that position, he's got deals with Frank Warren, and Warren's shifting and moving and shaking the heavyweight division at the moment. Like you say, though, there's about 6 fights that need to be made, and the one that we've got to discuss before this section ends is what's bigger. And people have been talking about it all week, and it gets my goat. What is bigger, Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua, or Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury? And for me, it's absolutely clear what's bigger. It's Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, I think, you might throw to some Frank Smith comments in a minute, but Matchroom's Frank Smith. But that fight between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua should not get in the way of Fury and Joshua, really, in my view. It's an absolute joke. It shouldn't be sanctioned. I really don't believe it should be sanctioned. I have a sneaking suspicion that it would be a very big fight. But the biggest thing is us rubbernecking to actually see if they do get to the point where they step in the ring together. Because Jake Paul's an area-level fighter, a British area-level fighter, and Anthony Joshua is still a killer and a live heavyweight. That should not be sanctioned anywhere in the world, in my view.
It's dangerous, mate.
Very dangerous.
It brings the sport into disrepute. The people that are talking about organising that, they should have a real hard look at themselves.
But even Eddie Hearn's kind of teasing he doesn't like it, but you can see the glimpse of dollars.
There's no price. There is no price.
There shouldn't be.
There's absolutely no price on the planet in order to make that fight, because it is dangerous. You're right in what you've said. Think about this, right? Forget that. You can't forget money because this is a business at the end of the day. But if you actually think about the talents of these two people, okay, you've got an Olympic gold medalist. That people might debate whether he did or didn't win that Olympic gold medal, but he won it, right? An Olympic gold medalist, a 2-time unified heavyweight champion of the world with the most amount of heavyweight title contests in this era.
Yep.
Right?
Correct.
And he is taking on a lad that 10 years ago was presenting TV shows on the Disney Channel. Don't get me wrong, he's done incredibly well as Jake Paul, but he is an area level novice. That's where he's at right now. He hasn't fought anybody with a real boxing pulse. And when he did, Tommy Fury, he got beat off the lad.
Yep.
It is dangerous. If he gets cracked off Anthony Joshua and gets seriously hurt, the sport gets dragged through the mud. There is not a price on the planet that is worth that. They've got enough dough. Anthony Joshua's got enough dough. They don't need to do it.
We're both on the money on this. And the sad thing is that Jake Paul has enough cojones and stupidity to get in there with Anthony Joshua. And that's what worries me. And, you know, like you say, he's such a huge commercial and marketing behemoth that the dollar signs are there. Joshua, it's a win-win for Joshua. It's a win-lose for Jake Paul, and it's a lose-lose for boxing. That's the way I see it. And I really hope, because we're going to get dragged into being a part of it, or being involved in it, or being
Well, that's the ultimate. It's the ultimate circus.
It is the ultimate circus, and we maybe have to make a move. This is why I want Tyson Fury and Joshua to be signed, because then we go sideways and we're not worrying about that contest. Yeah, I know.
Listen, it'd be interesting to know what Listen, I know that the hardcore boxing fan is absolutely on board with what we're saying.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see what the more casual boxing fan, the ones that dip in for the big shows.
All they're doing is they're going to wait to see Jake Paul get knocked out. Anthony Joshua is not going to hold him up for 4 rounds. Julio Cesar Chavez, when he fought Jake Paul recently, didn't throw a punch for 8 rounds. And when he did box for 2 rounds, he completely outboxed Jake Paul. And he's a faded fighter as well. It's a step too far. It's the final step too far. And you know me, I go behind these things sometimes. And I went there to support Mike Tyson against Jake Paul. And you can understand faded MMA stars and old boxers, but not a very active, dangerous killer heavyweight.
I agree.
Not right.
03717 223344. You're more than welcome to have your say on it. And we are on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel, where we're streaming live right now. And if you whack a comment in there, you never know, we might get it on the show and debate it. We've got guest galore coming. Callum Simpson, Josh Kelly, Josh Boatzy, Gav Gwyn, Karen Vuong, all going to be on the programme. And we are going to speak about Boxer's new TV deal, which could be huge for boxing. If you are watching Fight Night on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel, you don't have to turn the contrast down. Both me and Gav have been on our holidays. That's why we're a little bit more mahogany than we normally are. All right, this is our colour. There you go. Look at that. Look at that. Brilliant.
Are you admiring yourself?
I am, actually. This is as good as it gets, mate.
Are you in TV admiring yourself, lad?
This is as good as it gets, let me tell you. For those that are just listening to the show, you'd probably be in a better situation, actually, just listening to the dulcet tones of the programme. We've got guest galore coming. Callum Simpson will be with us very, very shortly, so stick around for that. We've talked heavyweights. We've talked about our commentary that we're bringing you next week, which is Moses Itauma and Dillian Whyte. Really looking forward to that main event. We'll talk about the card, actually, a little bit later on in the programme, which sees Nick Bole returning to action as well, and a big opportunity for David Adeleye. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. Right now, though, let's talk about the noise this week that it feels like it's on November the 15th. The rematch between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn. Obviously, they delivered big time the first time around at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium a little earlier on this year. They did sign a 2-fight deal. It's been back. It's been forth. It was originally September 21st. Then the football season gets in the way of it, and therefore they couldn't do it at the stadium. Now it's been moved the week before. Then we got told that Chris Eubank Jr. was maybe going in a different direction. Maybe Conor Benn was going in a different direction. But it seems that they've come to an agreement eventually. And it's all the same terms, all the same conditions as the first fight, where we were talking rehydration clauses and all that type of thing. But they're going to do it for a second time. Are you surprised?
No, because it was such an amazing night. It was a brilliant fight. You know, I think we were both there, weren't we? Did we both? Yeah, we did. But both were. It was like
we've done that many.
The days that we have done that many now. They're calling it unfinished business. Many of us, I think both of us included, said one and done we were happy with, because how do you better the fathers coming together, the drama, the razzmatazz, Egggate, the suspension of Conor Benn for 2.5 years almost from the original date at the O2 Arena, the growth of the fight, the delivery of the 12 rounds, the drama even afterwards, the chronically dehydrated Chris Eubank Jr. in hospital, and a week later Conor Benn like the conquering king in New York at the Times Square event, like he just conquered the world and a big star. His stock rose. Conor Benn's stock rose as much as Chris Eubank's did, even though, and I agree with the judges, 116, 112, 8 rounds to 4. Yep. I think most of us were in agreement with that. I get it. It was a really big event. It was resonant. It stayed long in the memory, and it will last forever. It's got the backing of Turkey Al Sheikh and the Saudi Arabians again. The interesting things that are coming out this time, I say unfinished business, they're calling it. They'll find more drama around it, I think, Adam, for November the 15th. That Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is an incredible place to go to. I think one of the great stadiums for boxing. Tony Sims, Conor Benn's coach, trainer, saying it's going to be a more tactical affair second time around. I'm not sure about that from Conor Benn. But I think it's a tougher fight this time for Chris Eubank Jr. because he thought he was going to stop Conor Benn. He's admitted that. And he knows he's going to have to go 12 hard rounds again, as well as cutting the weight, which he almost found impossible to do last time.
Well, he missed it.
That's why he missed it by an Easter egg, didn't he? But or a small egg, a cream egg. But I think this time they didn't want to give Chris Eubank Jr. any advantages. I spoke to Conor Benn out in Istanbul about this. He said, no, he's earning 10 million. I'm not giving him any advantages at all. I think that's what the protracted negotiations have been all about. Chris Eubank trying to push the envelope to see if he could get a little bit more leeway, but they're not giving him any. Eddie Hearn says it's going to be a war again, which he would do. You know, we'll all roll up and I think we'll enjoy it again. It's going to be a tougher fight second time around for Chris Eubank Jr., in my view. How do you see it?
Yeah, listen, I don't disagree with anything that you've said there. I just thought, coming off the first fight, listen, I said, didn't I, that I thought we got away with one. No, everybody came out relatively healthy. I know that boys went off to hospital and what have you.
Well, you say that. He went 36 hours in hospital and was chronically dehydrated.
Exactly.
So you're right.
We got away with one. Yeah. We got a great event. I don't think we can recreate all the narratives that came along with that first event, especially the revealing of Senior when he turned up, all those types of things. It was just like a WWE storybook, and I don't think that can be recreated. The reason why I maybe wanted to go in a different direction is because I think the stock of both of those fighters rose, and I saw genuine pathways to some serious big fights for legacy. This, for me, is a fight about money. That's it. And I know that there's family heritage.
There's family legacy.
I know all that. But from a boxing standpoint, this is about dough. This is the most amount of dough that's on the table for both of these fellas.
Yeah, correct.
Let's be dead straight.
Correct.
I just thought that even in defeat, Conor Benn out of his weight class, with all that cloud still hanging over him, and he still does now. We still don't have any clarity of what happened over the last couple of years, and we could do with that, because I think that would push him on even further. But he was out of his weight class, and look at the performance that he put in. I genuinely believe that he's put muscle mass on now, so it might be quite difficult. If he comes down in weight, maybe to 154, definitely to 147, given the performance I've just watched of Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios, you telling me Conor Benn can't compete with Mario Barrios to become a world champion? I think he absolutely could. So I just thought that pathway now was the time to be able to do that.
And within the last 6 weeks, and maybe it was for leverage as well, that his appearance with Shaka Stevenson on Ariel Helwani's show in New York, where they trash talked each other at the desk like this for half an hour.
He's in a great position.
I mean, that got my juices flowing to get Shakur coming up 2 weight divisions to fight Conor Benn over here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And at that point, when they were talking like that, I'll knock you out, and Conor's giving it, and Shakur going, man, you're not going to be able to do that. He doesn't really talk like that. He doesn't talk like Bob. No, that's Bob Arum.
Yeah, okay.
But the idea of those two dancing really got me excited.
Yes.
And again, that could have filled out Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, in my view.
Conor came out that first fight, even in defeat, with a lot of stock.
Absolutely.
Right? And therefore, I thought that there was a lot of opportunities. I get there's a lot of dough on the table, and I get that from his point of view, he wants to beat the guy. You know, there's family heritage. He's just lost a fight. He wants to get one over. He wants to do. I get it. From Chris's point of view,
that's the big fight for him.
Yeah, but I'm just
Hamza Sheeraz. Hamza Sheeraz and Canelo Alvarez. Those are the two fights.
I'm baffled. This just proves to me that Chris Eubank Jr.
He's a prize fighter.
He's only interested in money.
He is a prize fighter.
He's willing to risk his health. He's willing to risk getting beat here for dough.
He is, and he is following what his dad always said about boxing, and he's following it into a trench in some ways, which is
with that in mind,
following the Mugs game. Yeah. But he knows if he has one more big fight, he's set forever. If he loses it, he's set forever.
He's made a ton of cash already from being, with all due respect, not really achieving the things that he could maybe have gone on to achieve.
That was his biggest payday against Conor Benn.
Right, okay. So
without any question.
So he's doing it again for the money, and he's willing to risk his health and all these types of things in order to do that.
At 35,
So why would I come on the radio and moan about it? I did it the first time around. The first fight, I was like going, look at this, rehydration clause, this, that, and the other, because I was looking at the health aspects of the fight and I was really concerned about it. But if it's his life. He's a grown man. If he's making that decision, more fool him.
Listen, I've written a column kind of concurring with his father, with Chris Eubank Sr., that there are dangers involved here. But, you know, again, when you're 35... and yes, of course, he's lost his brother Sebastian, which we lament, and it makes his father a certain way about it, and he's worried about his son. And I do agree with his father. I have those concerns for him, but you're not going to stop a 35-year-old man who can earn 10 million for fighting a man who's naturally 2 weight divisions below him, who doesn't believe he can put a dent in him and hurt him, which he didn't the first time.
But he's struggling to hit the weight.
But he's struggling to hit the weight, and that is
he missed weight, and then he's got these rehydration clauses. He's struggling,
but he's going to do it because he's got that fighter's mentality, and he's got that prize fighter's mentality, and he's got that money mentality in his mind. He does like that. He is flash. Whatever you say, he's flash. He's a showman, and he's going to do it. And he loves the attention and the fame and all the things that go with it. And this could be his last dance. And I don't mean in his life, but I think it could well be the last dance of his career. I've got a sneaking suspicion that Conor Benn's going to be a very hard fight for him second time around.
I agree. Listen, Conor's felt it now. Conor's been up to the weight. He's felt it. He understands that dance. And listen, Chris is not getting younger, and it gets even harder to hit those weights as you get older, as everybody knows. I think he's rolling the dice.
It's going to get even tougher for you and I as well if Conor Benn wins, because they might do a trilogy, remember? Do you want to go to break?
Yes, I do. You are listening to Fight Night on talkSPORT. This is Fight Night on talkSPORT. I'm Adam Catterall. Gareth A. Davies is alongside me. Thank you very much for getting involved with the show. We are on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. You're more than welcome to come and join us there. And if you want to get involved and actually be on the programme, you can. 03717 22 33 About 15 minutes, we'll speak to Callum Simpson and Josh Kelly. He's given up a bit of time on a Saturday night to come and join us in the studio. Don't know whose hair's better, his or Gareth's. You can judge for yourself on YouTube in about half an hour from now.
Excuse me.
Josh Kelly says good.
He's got good hair, but it's not on the same level. Come on,
you have the debate with him.
All that.
Have the debate with him. Listen, I'm just a follically challenged man that is obviously very jealous.
He's got no greys, I'll put it that way.
Yes. The fight that I thought we were going to get before the end of the year was part 3 of Beterbiev-Bivol. It seems like that is not going to be the case now. People, I've no doubts, have seen on social media Dmitry Bivol, the winner of the second fight, was in a hospital bed yesterday because he's had a bit of back surgery, and we're told that that's going to take 6 to 8 weeks to clear up. And there's been a bit of social media back and forth between Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. From a Beterbiev point of view, he says this: "We were offered great conditions, which were almost impossible to refuse. From my part, I did everything to make the third fight happen, but my opponent chose the path of retreat again. See you on November the 22nd in Riyadh. I'm continuing my journey no matter what." What he's referring to there is that he is going to be fighting Dion Nicholson on the 22nd of November. That's on the same card as Anthony Yarde's challenge of David Benavidez for the WBC title. So the third fight with Dmitry Bivol is delayed. Disappointing because, as I said at the time, and I think you concurred with me, that these two are just so far ahead of any other light heavyweight. Just let them keep fighting each other because they're so beautifully matched. Yeah,
there's some politics going on here in my view. The International Boxing Association were looking to try and make Beterbiev against Bivol against Beterbiev, it should be now, 3, the trilogy in Moscow.
Yes.
And there were complications with that. In my view, I think there's still a holdover, one or both of them, by Riyadh Season and Turki Al-Sheikh, because I think he wants to oversee that trilogy, part 3. Okay. Obviously, Beterbiev has accused Dmitry Bivol of ducking him, but he's not. We've seen those pictures. He did file. I know for a fact he filed for a medical exemption with the IBF after the back surgery anyway, to give him time to recover. It's amazing that he's had that injury for 2 years. But boxers do carry injuries in that sense.
Now, people can look at this maybe whatever way they want to look at it. He relinquished the WBC belt, and my understanding of that was in order to make sure that the third fight with Artur Beterbiev actually happened. Now, people might look at it and go, well, he ran away from David Benavidez. Come on, this is Dmitry Bivol, right? He ain't running away from anybody. He's trying to make the best fight, and he's trying to make the most money fight. And I would imagine that the most money fight, the best fight, is obviously a third fight with Artur Beterbiev. So if
Turki Al-Sheikh's behind it, and Riyadh Season are behind it, because I don't know if it's unusually it's one of those. We've had 24 rounds of absolute joy if you're a fight fan, or if you're an aficionado of the sport or a historian, because we've got 2 of the very best
technicians on the planet.
I mean, arguably, apart from Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, these are the 2 highest pound for pound ranked boxers in the world, fighting each other. Okay. And it is, I call it a trade fight. It's not. It's a fight for the ages. And the third fight,
well, it's a rubber. One's won one, one's won the other. Let's go.
But Dmitry Bivol was so much better in the second fight, and you started to see the signs of age in Artur Beterbiev, and I think I favour Bivol in that third fight. And I think what Beterbiev's getting at is, I'm having to have a fight now in between against Dion Nicholson, who's number 11 with the WBA, by the way, which he should win convincing. These things have a horrible habit of going wrong, but we do need to see that trilogy fight, because this is an era. These 2 guys are dominant forces in this era.
Yeah. Just on the light heavyweight conversation as we continue that, you've got Callum Smith. I believe that's been ordered as well by the WBO for David Morrell. I think that has been ordered.
Great fight.
I know that they're talking about maybe making that because Callum Smith is currently the WBO interim.
Do we get that on that November card, hopefully,
I would hope so, yeah.
Because then we've got some great moves.
Well, if you've got the WBC title on the line with David Benavidez taking on Anthony Yarde, then you've obviously got if you can get Callum Smith and Morel together for the WBO interim version of that, then listen, and obviously Artur Beterbiev's going to be on that. We're all moving in the right direction. Personally, what I would do is have Beterbiev fight his fight against Nicholson. Hopefully get them together in the first quarter to the first half of next year for the trilogy fight, and on the same card do Benavidez and Smith.
Absolutely.
If Smith comes against Morel.
And what's happening in this light heavyweight? I mean Eddie Hearn's teasing, I think, Bivol and Jaya Opetaia, I think, at some point. But I think Opetaia is just too big, in my view, even though it's a staggeringly attractive fight when you think about it, because Bivol's one of those guys, in my view, that...
Well, he's a boxer. He's a technician.
He could step up and win a heavyweight title, in my view. He's good enough against a small heavyweight. Rather like Roy Jones.
Who is that
small heavyweight?
Of this current crop, I mean, heavyweight is on fire right now.
Let me think.
So who is that small heavyweight?
Could he beat an Ajit Kabayel?
I don't know. Kabayel is probably one of the most underrated fighters in that heavyweight division. His body work is fantastic.
Funnily enough, when I was with both of them doing the box part work before our broadcast, Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois, I was with both men together, and they are almost identical in size. Very thick set, and Parker's a big guy now. They're both 117 kilos. They were comparing weights.
I think heavyweight will be a stretch too far.
I am stretching it, but he and Jaya Opetaia will be a great fight for
cruiser.
At cruiser, yeah, at cruiser.
He's a big boy, though.
He is a big boy, but he'll be the ultimate test.
And he's not just a banger, he's Jai. He can box as well, as he's proven.
Bivol's got to fight Beterbiev in a third fight first, in my view. But what's happening, what you were just laying out there with the light heavyweight division, is what we need in the blooming heavyweight division.
Yeah.
Where they all get on a card together, where we have 10 of those guys on a card again, like we had a year and a half ago with those Riyadh season cards, where we were heavy, strong. You know, let's get that moving again. Turki Al-Sheikh, please get involved again with the heavyweight division and move them in and on.
We're going to be speaking to one of those light heavyweights a little later on in the show, because Joshua Boatsi, he's just signed with Queensberry. He's going to be joining us. He's just announced his first fight under that promotional banner, November the 1st, Manchester against Zach Parker. We'll talk to him in around about an hour. But coming up next, it's Callum Simpson.
Everyone knows there are 20 managers in the Premier League, yeah? Well, actually, no. Around 3/4 of them are not managers. The terms manager and head coach are often used interchangeably to describe Premier League bosses, but they're actually two different jobs. So let's explain how and why. For years, fans referred to Mikel Arteta as Arsenal's manager, but I'm afraid technically...
I don't think so, no.
From his first day on the job, he was the Gunners' head coach. Let's pick a random moment in time, February 2025. Only 6 Premier League bosses actually held the official title of manager rather than head coach. Man City's Pep Guardiola, David Moyes of Everton, Ipswich boss Kieran McKenna, Southampton's Ivan Juric, Oliver Glasner at Crystal Palace and Leicester's Ruud van Nistelrooy were the only actual managers of their respective teams. Everyone else? That's right, head coach, including Ruben Amorim at Man United. He took over from Erik ten Hag, a man who had held the title of manager. Might come as a surprise that Amorim's appointment marked the first time ever that Man United had a head coach instead of a manager. But to understand why they made that decision, you also have to get what the difference is between a head coach and a manager. A manager's got a huge range of responsibilities. They're not just in charge of training and player lineups, they're also heavily involved in player sales and transfers. Critical stuff. But a head coach's role is far more focused on team training and performance on the pitch. So whereas Ten Hag was highly involved with decisions around transfers during his tenure, the intention was that Amorim wouldn't be, at least not on the same level. And as the sporting structure at Man United changed under Sir Jim Ratcliffe, people like Sir Dave Brailsford took charge of transfers instead. How all those roles play out in practice may be slightly different at different clubs though. On the other hand, the contracts of actual managers like Pep or Moyes had no limits on their job role and their involvement with transfers and contracts. But those guys are actually in the minority now, and it's a change that's happened pretty quickly. In 2019, there were only 6 head coaches in the Premier League, but by 2025 there were 14. A clear indication that more and more clubs are moving towards a model where the guy in charge is actually only really in charge on the pitch. And the way things are going, it might not be long before all 20 clubs have got head coaches, and the job position of football manager in the top flight is no more.
British super middleweight Callum Simpson is on the show in around about 15 minutes from now, and then straight after that, the pretty boy, or should it be the pretty man, seeing as that he's gone past 30 years of age, Josh Kelly on the show. Is it going to be Jaron Ennis? Is it going to be a world title fight? Is it going to be Conor Benn, maybe, for him in the not too distant future? He'll answer all those questions right here on Fight Night. You're listening to talkSPORT. Right, the big story this week in the world of boxing, away from actually fights getting made, is the new TV deal for Ben Shalom and Boxer. He was obviously on talkSPORT yesterday talking about this extensively. This is what he had to say.
It was something that I didn't think would be possible. It was something that we dreamt of doing, was bringing boxing back to primetime BBC. I think it's been 25 years.
Is it?
And it's what you want for the sport. You know, it's how the sport develops, it's how it grows, it's how it creates the household names. This sport of boxing is sort of taking over at the moment. I think the younger audiences as well, they're all engaging. But for us, it's how do we get it in front of the biggest possible audience? And I have to thank everyone. I have to thank the BBC because, you know, for them, this is a monumental move to put, as I say, world-class boxing on primetime television.
And if you like sport, Saturday nights is the day, isn't it? To stay in, and boxing on just before match of the day.
It is. So everything all week will be shown on the BBC iPlayer, and then we'll have the best slot I think you could possibly ask for. A couple of two and a half hours leading into match of the day, multi-fight, multi-year deal. So I think obviously it's amazing for us and myself and Boxer and the fighters, but I genuinely believe for the sport it's a historic moment for boxing, and we're always competing for eyeballs with other sports.
Yeah.
We're always wanting to be on the front pages, and this puts us firmly in the front page.
Ben on talkSPORT yesterday, talking through about Boxer's new TV deal. Obviously, they were with Sky, that wasn't renewed, and now they move forward with this. And he's right. Absolutely groundbreaking move to have boxing back on what we would class as traditional television. 25 years ago was the last time that the BBC were involved in the sport of boxing. You were about then, weren't you, mate?
I was.
Covering the Audley Harrison stuff.
I was. Audley had won the gold medal in the super heavyweight division at the Sydney Olympics. He'd come home, he'd signed a deal with the BBC at the time, and this is where boxing began and stopped with the BBC at that point. Sorry, it stopped rather than began. The BBC had shown boxing for years and years. Audley Harrison signed a 10-fight deal. I'd covered all 10 fights. He got $1 million for it. But the mistake that at the time Mike Lewis, who was one of the controllers of sport on the BBC, made was they allowed him to choose, rather than have an agent choosing, having their own agent choosing his opponents, a matchmaker, he was allowed to choose his own opponents. They included at the time people like Dominic Negus, Julius Lloyd-Long, Mike Middleton, Derek McCafferty, Piotr Jurczyk, but there were journeymen, bin men, strippers, guys who dragged out of a nightclub, doormen. So he was able to pick whoever he wanted. And I can remember going to Olympia in Liverpool for Wade Lewis. I think it was about his 7th. My memory is it was his 7th fight of those 10 fights. He was booed in, Audley Harrison, and he was booed out. And as you know, Audley wasn't an all-action fighter. He was 6'8" tall.
He was made for the amateur game.
He was made for the. He was a fencer, exactly. He had a great big shell about him. He was impossible to beat over 3 or 4 rounds. Mm-hmm. But when he was in the pro game, and I hope he forgives me for saying this, I knew him a long time, that he didn't have.
It's a different sport.
He didn't have the requisite skills or tenacity to be a heavyweight champion of the world. Who was his last fight?
Was it not David Hare? Was it David Hare?
It was Deontay Wilder. Believe it or not.
Was it?
His last fight was Deontay Wilder at Sheffield Arena. Yep, he lost by TKO in the first round. Oh, the David Hay, he lost to David Price.
Yeah.
And he lost to David Hay in a, I think, I'm pretty sure that Audley Harrison was promoted by Eddie Hearn at the time. It was a big event. But he showed no heart against David Hay. It was a real letdown.
No.
But basically, the bottom line is, that caused a lot of kickback.
25 year. That's a 25-year absence,
and that's what stopped boxing on the BBC. They felt like they'd been. Certainly, the media story at the time, the media spin was that Audley Harrison caused the BBC to pull out of boxing.
Yes,
that's been the storyline for a long time.
Off the back of that, you then have the Sky boom. Brilliant, fantastic rise
Frank
of
Warren
Sky.
and then Eddie Hearn.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then you have the match
pay-per-view.
All those types of things. I know that on what we would class as traditional platforms, you've still got Channel 5 that obviously work with Wasserman and they put a few things on there, don't they?
That do numbers as well.
They do. Channel 4 have had a little go at it. You've got ITV that have flirted in, but the BBC getting involved with this. My takeaways for this are it's really interesting now if you're a young fighter. And I say young fighter because I think this is going to come down to where you're actually at in your career and what you actually want to be achieving.
What you can get out of it.
Yes.
The platform.
I don't know the numbers and the intricacies of what the BBC will provide Boxer in order to put fights on and obviously pay fighters. That I think this is going to be raised from ticket sales and sponsorships from a Boxer point of view, because they do have the platform, which is going to be very attractive to very, what you would class as blue chip sponsors. I think if you're a young fighter now, you've got to weigh up, and if you're a young fighter's manager, you've got to weigh up, right, do I go with a Matchroom, a Queensberry, whoever's connected to a DAZN, i.e. where the money is in broadcasting? Do I go there and maybe get paid more for some of my fights? Or do I maybe get paid a little bit less by going with a Boxer on a BBC, but I've got the opportunity to become a household name, gain massive sponsorship deals, and maybe in 2-3 years' time of working on that platform and maybe creating content alongside the BBC, having some good fights and what have you, I'm a name of which then I can become a pay-per-view star.
Let me go even deeper. And everything you've said there, I resonate with. and it goes even deeper. Like young Fran Hennessy, who's had 6 fights on Sky. What's on her bucket list? To be on Strictly Come Dancing. Now, if you are 4 times on the BBC over the next 12 months, which is what I believe they're going to do.
It's an easy transition, isn't it?
It's an easy transition. You become a darling of the British public. You're on a Saturday night on prime time.
Well, you have a career after boxing then.
And you have it, but you're like you say, what you're choosing is
it's a longer game.
A fan base with the British public. And if you... A Ben Whittaker could easily become big with the British public. And Adam Azim could become big with the British. A Callum Simpson, a Lauren Price, who's already won a gold medal in the Olympics. People really know who she is. So Caroline Dubois, all of these guys and girls could easily develop well. So in some senses, and I spoke to Ben Shalom privately about this yesterday as well, some things that weren't discussed on the show, which is all the shoulder programming of press conferences, weigh-ins are all going to be shown on the BBC iPlayer. There's going to be a lot on BBC Sounds.
Yeah.
A few years back, I was involved with the BBC iPlayer with Bellator, and that was a historic deal. We didn't do enough shoulder programming at the time. What they need to do, and I think they will, because they're a young, vibrant organisation, and they've just come away from 5 years with Sky Sports, and my guesstimate is that £35 million went into those 5 years from the broadcasters with the promoters. That's my guesstimate, okay? I don't know, I can't say because Sky don't reveal their figures, but 5 to 6 to 7 million a year was being spent around these promotions. They did a great job. They built a stable.
Considerably less.
He's got to move quickly now and get all those guys onto the BBC and sell them that, or give that upsell that we're talking about, which is, look how good the BBC is going to be for you. Look how big the platform can be for you. The British public will know you. 16 million people subscribe to the iPlayer, for example, alone.
Yes.
As long as that's driven in the right way, we've got a competitive market with DAZN, with Queensberry Matchroom and Ben Shalom and Boxer taking it in that direction, and we can still call it boxing on network TV, on terrestrial TV, and that's a great thing. And obviously that's mirrored in the US at the moment, with ESPN and Top Rank not renewing their deal this summer, and they need to find a requisite broadcaster that pushes them.
To Dana Whyte and his boys, aren't they, at TKO?
Well, but ESPN are, but we're a Top Rank.
Yes,
we don't want to lose them from the mix.
Of course.
Bob Arum is too clever, too powerful, too knowledgeable. The library's too big. Xander Zayas has just become a world champion. The Puerto Rican market is very important. All those things. I think it's a kind of sequentially sideways movement hearing this about BBC and boxing and back in boxing. I think there's a lot of learning to do, and I hope the advisors are right around it. But if they get it right, Adam, could be a really good thing.
Yeah. Also, the platforms that this is going to be broadcast on is going to be important as well. I'm led to believe, and I hope I'm wrong, because I hope that the main channel, the flagship channel of BBC One, is featured at certain points throughout the course of this. I believe that there'll be stuff that is shown on BBC Two, BBC Three, and iPlayer. Again, all these are positives, because the amount of coverage that these fighters can get is only a positive thing. And I think Gareth's absolutely right. Yes, the fights are important. You've got to get the right fights for the entertainment factor. But I think the BBC and entering boxing and working with Boxer, there's an opportunity here to tell stories, to tell narratives, to create people falling in love with these athletes with the shoulder programming that they go and create. So the likes of the Caroline Dubois, the likes of the Adam Azims, it's not just about the fight come Saturday night. It's about telling their story over a period of time. Create reality TV shows that exist on the iPlayer. So when people are floating around and they're looking for their EastEnders or they're looking for the Gavin and Stacey, oh, what's this? Oh, right, let's have a look at it. And you click on it and away you go. And you might then come back to watch the fight on a Saturday.
And the funny thing is, at the moment, there's been a shift. You know me, I love a backstory. I love the backstory of a fighter.
Which he's probably doing as well.
But at the moment, what we've had a shift in the boxing world about, and you and I talk about it every time we're together, we're talking about the business of boxing a lot at the moment. Yeah, because of the way it is. We've stopped telling the stories. I was talking to Mel Tomaglio, who works for Top Rank, Melissa, Tyson Fury's PR lady. We were talking about this the other day in a private conversation about how the narrative of telling people's backstories has kind of just gone away from the sport a little bit, and it's time to bring it back. because we are talking about the business of
That's
boxing.
what people
quite
buy
a lot.
into.
They really buy, and the mainstream buys into that because they're fascinated as to why these people fight, how it humanises them, and I think we're going to come back to that. And hopefully that's what the BBC will do with Boxer and the stable.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how that.
Yeah,
plays
very
out.
interesting.
I've according to Ben II yesterday when he was on talkSPORT, they're going to move quite quickly. I think there'll be a show in the next couple of months that we can get excited about.
Heavyweights?
I believe that it
will.
will.
Go on, announce it.
Come on, man. They'll be ringing me tomorrow and causing all
He'll be texting you now, complaining about there's some big fights going to be announced.
Yes.
Anyway,
you know, I think they've got some good people on there, and I hope that they do sell that dream, and I hope that some of those fighters do stay with him.
Oh, me too, as well.
And they could genuinely become household names. It's down to them to perform. They've got to perform, and the content's got to be right.
Of all of those guys, if you were to pick a woman and a man, I think Fran Hennessy on the BBC, or Lauren Price on the BBC, or Caroline, in fact, all three of those.
They all work.
But Ben Whittaker on the BBC.
Adam Zine works.
As well, yeah, it's true. I wonder what Callum Simpson's going to do then.
Well, we'll talk to him in a minute because he's going to be on the show.
Good.
Series that we've just been speaking BBC, I think it's only fair to highlight the other broadcaster that's involved, obviously, in fight sports. The majority of boxing is on DAZN. And next Saturday, they're going to be bringing you 5 huge fights on one night of action. Unbeaten rising star Moses Itauma taking on proven and dangerous Dillian Whyte in a heavyweight showdown plus action. From Nick Bull, David Adelaide, Ray Ford and Filip Pergovic. Don't miss it next Saturday, August 16th. Watch it only on DAZN.
Boxing update on talkSPORT with DAZN, the global home of boxing. Buy now at dazn.com/boxing.
Is this one of yours?
Oh, yeah.
Is this higher state of consciousness?
It is. You remember this from, like, what, 94?
Yeah, early 90s.
95, maybe?
The old heads that are listening to the show, that know their dance music, will know exactly what this track is. It's a serious piece of kit. You listen to Fight Night. It's not a rave up, but we are having a punch up. That's what we do on a Saturday night. We talk about all good things that are happening in the world of fight sports, mainly boxing. And the guest list is always ram jam full. Very shortly, Josh Kelly's going to be in the studio. We're also going to be speaking to Josh Buatsi at some point this evening as well, ahead of his scheduled fight in November against Zach Parker. That was announced yesterday. But right now, time to speak to one of our favourites, a guy that just keeps on rising and rising and rising and picking up all the accolades. And who knows what's going to come next? Hopefully he's going to shed a little bit of light on that. It is the British super middleweight that is Callum Simpson. Callum, how are you, my man? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, mate. How are you?
Very well indeed, mate. Great to have you on the programme once again. Congratulations on your last performance.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you.
Once again, in Barnsley, doing it in front of the home fans. Must be some buzz, that, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure when you were a kid, you had a little bit of a dream of maybe kicking a football on that pitch, but now that you can have a scrap on there and stop people, that's even better, isn't it?
Mate, it's bigger than a dream come true. You know, if someone said to me a few years ago, you'd be fighting it up, well, I would have thought they were crazy. Yeah, absolutely. To do it once for the British Commonwealth in front of 7,000 against Zach Chelly, and then to come back 10 months later and do it for the European, yeah, absolutely amazing, mate.
So what's the situation now, buddy, right? Because we've clocked the domestic game, we've clocked the Commonwealth game, we've clocked the European game. Now, I know there's a situation where the former European champion has kind of now been made mandatory for you in Saggio, but I'm sure you've got eyes on maybe those world honours. So what's the crack? What's next up for you?
Yeah, from what I've seen, I think Saggio's actually got a fight next month.
Is that the IBF Eliminator? Is that?
I don't know, mate. I don't know. I've seen he's got a fight next month, right. The end of, and also this month actually, end of August. I don't know who it's against. I don't know what it's for. But
right.
But yeah, for me, you know, we've got a rough date. We've got a few. Obviously, I can't tell you what date, but yeah, I'm very confident.
Why?
I'm going to be
What's
out.
up with you? Come on, man.
Come on. I like to give you an exclusive, but not that exclusive. Yeah, you know, I'm very confident I'm going to be out before the end of this year. A very good fight. But yeah, you know, I'm at a position now where I've won the British, Commonwealth, European. You know, I've still got a lot of learning to do, and a lot of the more experience I can get before I go for a world title, the better for me. You know, I'm not saying I'm the finished product. I believe, you know, that I will be world level. But yeah, I just want the best fights available for me at the minute.
Ben Whittaker's someone we know you're chasing. Hamza Shiraz is out there. There's a certain Saul Canelo Alvarez.
Yes.
If you go on and he goes on, if he goes on long enough for you to reach the pinnacle with him, is he someone that you sometimes dream about bringing to a big stadium in the UK?
Yeah, of course it is. That, you know, I've grown up watching Canelo. You know, even from when he first fought Mayweather, and I was grown as from the super middleweight, obviously the king of boxing at the minute, the main guy in boxing. You know, I did an interview probably 2.5 years ago when I first signed with Boxer, and you know, and saying, oh yeah, I'd love to fight Canelo or Quayle, just joking, you know, just laughing it off, just joking, and then
manifest.
But there were loads of people saying, oh, he'll never fight Oakwell, never mind Canelo, and we've gone back to Oakwell twice. So, you know, who knows next year? You know, I keep winning. Canelo beats Crawford. Who knows? Let's get it on at Oakwell, get it sold out.
Canelo versus Simpson on the BBC on a Saturday night. Could that happen?
Definitely. Followed by match of the day.
Yes. And maybe Barnes will get promoted in that time as well, mate, and then they could get, you know what I mean, get all that sorted.
Would you imagine? And then I'll be on Strictly at end of year.
There you go. You're flying, lad.
So from these things you're saying, we've just been speaking about the new deal for Ben Shalom and going into the detail. I covered the BBC and Audley Harrison 25 years ago, young man. Does that? Are you suggesting then, with all these things, Strictly, BBC, that you are going to stay with Boxer?
For me, it's absolutely massive. What the BBC is a platform. It's the biggest public broadcaster. The views, I feel like on Sky Sports, it's, you know, you've got your boxing fans, your football fans, whereas for BBC, like my grandma will be flicking through channels, she'll jump on it. You know, the views are I think we're going to go from like hundreds of thousands to millions of views. And again, it's not just the BBC Two, BBC Three or iPlayer. You know, it's all the big shows that come with BBC. You know, they've obviously got the match of the day. Again, Strictly, the One Show, BBC News. But again, and I think these days, boxing, like I've just been listening to you guys for a few minutes before. It's not just about being a good boxer anymore. You can't just. We've gone to the times where like you could fight every weekend, whether you've got a loss or you fight every month. Whether you've got a loss, it doesn't matter. You fight again. There's so much now into marketing, into the person as a personal brand, and I think BBC is the perfect platform to kind of build that. Again, you've got your coverage over your iPlayer, your BBC Radio. Again, for me, it's the biggest. Well, again, it's not just me saying it. My opinion, it's the biggest public broadcaster in the UK. And I think I've seen a stat somewhere that it reaches 99.9% of the population, 50 million adults. It reaches in the UK, which is. There's no other broadcaster that are doing those numbers anywhere near those numbers. And I think, again, for boxing, it's a historical announcement. And, it's massive. It's huge. And, again, for the fighters that want to build themselves as a boxer, build the brand, it's got everything for us.
So we'll see you on MasterChef on a Tuesday. We'll see you doing Strictly Come Dancing maybe just before you have a scrap on a Saturday night. And then who knows what, maybe a cameo in EastEnders, mate? Do you fancy that?
We could do. The thing is, you know me as well. I'm up for everything. I've already been on phone to Boxer PR saying I want to be on this. When am I on BBC Calendar News? Am I on tomorrow? You know, let me know. Let me know.
I think the key thing is, Callum, it's a wonderful opportunity, isn't it? As you've rightfully pointed out there, the platform is absolutely gigantic. I think for every boxing fan, we should be excited that more boxing is going to get into more households, and hopefully that then creates more fans who want to come out and watch the stuff. Ultimately, and listen, the opportunities are there for a personality like yours, but ultimately it is going to come down to the fighting, and you are in a great position that you're a fan-friendly fighter. You put on displays that fans want to actually buy a ticket for and come out and get behind. And that's going to be key, isn't it? To be able to get the right fights on the platform on a Saturday night. So when they have, I don't know, maybe checked in on your reality TV show on the iPlayer and they've fallen in love with you, they actually come back to the fight on Saturday and they get to see you in a proper fight, in a proper display, of which then makes them just keep coming back to the sport.
Yeah, exactly. And I think for any boxer, all we want is to get the best opportunities for us, the best available fights for us, and to get paid properly for it as well.
Yeah.
And I believe that's what's going to continue happening with boxing and the BBC. And yeah, like you said, I've got a very fan-friendly style, maybe a bit too fan-friendly. I've been told by my coach, but you know, when I watch boxing, I like to I like to watch my style of fight, or my style of boxing, my fight. You know, I fight. You know, that's just my style. I've got people can say whatever they want about my talent. They might say I'm not world level talent or boxing ability, but I've got world level heart. I've got world level engine, conditioning, and you know that's what sets me apart from the rest as well.
How is Daniela, who I know, about you talking about going on Strictly then?
She's all right. She's actually in background. She's been taking a few videos. How do you feel, Daniela?
It's great.
She thinks it's
Saturday
great.
night out, isn't it?
She thinks it's great and can't wait to watch me on Strictly. We've actually done a little salsa. We went to St. Lucia earlier this year.
Oh, yeah?
You got engaged, didn't you?
Yes, we did. We got engaged in
Congratulations
St.
to the
Lucia.
pair of you, mate.
Thank you very much. And we did a little salsa class together.
Can you do a little dance for us now or not?
I can't, and Daniela definitely can't.
Oh, okay, so
she definitely can't.
You shouldn't be saying that because this is your almost
audition.
like rehearsal for getting on Strictly. So yes, you can. Is the other thing about the other thing about you is obviously you're from Barnsley, and you are becoming one of the most famous people in Barnsley because Brian Glover's from Barnsley, isn't he?
Yes, yeah. I was actually went to
actor and wrestler.
Barnsley's game today, the second game at season. The 1-3-1, you know, big game, big up Connor Orahan doing big things for Barnsley, and yeah, just going around there on the pitch, it's like I'm a local hero as such, but I'm just a normal. Like people are, how come you've got so much time for everybody? How come you?
That's why it works.
You know,
that's why it works, mate. That's why it works because
It's crazy because for me, I'm just one of you guys. Like I've been going to a few schools, obviously before they broke up, going to my old primary school, my old secondary school, and seeing the kids and just letting them know that someone who's come from where you've come from, walk through the same halls as you, worn the same uniform, can go on to achieve the dreams. There's no reason why they can't either. And 1 minute they see me ringside for Eubank Benn fight, and the next day they see me in Lidl in Barnsley. So, what are you doing here? So yeah, but it's nice to obviously still be to get recognised in Barnsley and hopefully inspire some people in Barnsley as well. Yeah,
you've earned that, mate. I know that Gareth was alluding to the super fights in the future. The Canelo's the dream one and all that. Recently, a recent addition to your weight division is obviously Hamza Shiraz. I know that Gareth mentioned his name a month or two ago. What did you make of his performance against Edgar Belanda a couple of weeks ago? Yeah,
he did good. He did good. Obviously, I only saw the knockout highlight. I don't really see too much, but obviously that was a great performance from him. Great performance.
From a British fan point of view, and I know that you know politics gets in the way sometimes of these fights with broadcast deals and all this type of stuff. That, for me, at some point would be an absolute super fight between you two from a British fan point of view. You've just said there you're constantly underestimated, and I agree with you. I think people do underestimate you, but you've ticked off British. That's a difficult thing to do. Commonwealth's difficult. Europeans even more difficult. The next step is a world-level fight, mate, and that, for me, makes an awful lot of sense.
Definitely, and I don't know if he's in line to fight Canelo or what's going on there, but I've made clear since Hamza moved up to super middleweight, that's the fight that I want, that's a fight that I love, and a fight that I'd welcome. I've told Boxer, I've told my management, I've told my team that that's a fight that if they can make the fight, let's make it.
And but I'm just jumping in here. And does Frank Warren allow Hamza Shiraz to fight him on the BBC as opposed to on DAZN? So there's all the fascinating kind of like the ins and outs, the politics of it.
If they want big exposure and views, then he does, yeah.
Listen, we're in a good place. Fights are actually starting to get made, aren't we? And obviously with Turki Al-Sheikh in the mix as well. Fingers crossed we can get that. There is one more other fighter that I'd just like to throw your way, potentially in the future. And it's Chris Eubank Jr.
Yes.
Because we know that November the 15th, we're heading towards a middleweight fight with him and Conor. I personally would have loved him to have gone back up to 168 and cracked on with his career there. And then that would have maybe set up something with yourself at some point. Listen, I know this is a daft question, but I'm assuming that is a fight that you would absolutely lick your chops for.
Yeah, again, another fight that I've told Ben, Boxer, that I want if we can make it happen. And it's, I'm not going to be naive and silly thinking that because Eubank's such a big name, he's a massive star, there's no reason for him to be fighting me. Like, if I was him, I'd stay well away. But yeah, there's no reason for him to be fighting me. But again, I'm ranked 4th in the IBF, and we push on for world titles hopefully next year. So if the fight's there to be made, definitely another fight that I love.
Superb. Listen, mate, I'm looking forward to the reality show on the iPlayer. I'm looking forward to your
the salsa between Daniela and Callum.
Absolutely, that. And maybe a little bit of MasterChef as well, mate. So get practicing in the kitchen. All right,
I will do, mate. I will do.
Great stuff.
Listen, nice superstar. I'm looking forward to the announcement of the date as well.
Yeah,
and obviously getting you on the BBC. Take care, mate.
Cheers, Cal.
See you guys. Thank
Cheers.
There you go. Callum Simpson is ticking every box at the moment in the super middleweight division, and what an opportunity for him because he has got the personality that will carry.
Always had it
on the BBC, and he can fight as well.
Absolutely.
So keep an eye out for that. Josh Kelly's going to be with us very, very shortly. Do stick with us. You listen to Fight Night on talkSPORT. Yeki this time.
Yeki.
You know what I mean? This might be a little bit too much of an old track for our next guest. But you never know. You know, he might have been on a few dance floors, cutting a few shapes every now and again to some of the old classics. This is Fight Night. I'm Adam Catterall. Gareth A. Davies is alongside me. British super welterweight Josh Kelly very kindly has given up a bit of time on a Saturday night to come and join us in the studio and get stuck into what's next for him. How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm not bad. So, yeah, just taking over. I've got nothing else to do on a Saturday night, so I might as well
come and hang out with us. Yeah. Well, what is the latest? Because listen, we're going to go all the way back, right? So since Avanesian, you've been punch perfect.
Yeah.
7 fights now, I think that is, isn't it?
Could be, yeah.
And it's been, steady away, some good displays. Last time out was absolutely sensational. I know he was back home in front of the home fans, but blew the kid away relatively quickly.
Yeah.
What is the next thing now for you? Because it feels like we're there. We're back again.
Big fights, mate, big fights. I'm ranked number 3 in the IBF. You got Murtazalia there, and I think Lubin's the one above. I'm ranked I should be number 2 in the WBO when Perez moves out to play. No, number 1, sorry, in the WBO. When Perez gets dropped down. So I'm ready for one of these big fights, one of these world title fights. I'm ready now. I'm mature. I didn't get hairs on me under my arms till I was 16. So till I was about 18. So I mean, I'm mature now and I'm where I need to be.
Regarding the Murtazalia fight, then, because he's obviously the world champion that you've just mentioned there. Was there an offer that came in? Because I was under the impression that negotiations was for Murtazalia towards you.
No.
Did an offer come your way? Because I was under the impression that you were actually in the negotiation.
Yeah, we had no
trying
offer
to make that happen.
We had no offer from them. No. This is the money. This is the date. Nothing. But to be honest, mate, I'm ready to fight any of these guys. Murtazalia. I heard Turki Al Sheikh saying that some guys are scared to fight them. I've offered so many guys to fight and they're scared to fight them. Well, listen, I'm here. Do you know what I mean? I'm not scared of anyone now. I'm nowhere I'm at in my career. I know what I'm doing. So put me against that guy. Put your money where your mouth is, and I'll fight him. I want the big fights. Him,
Conor Benn.
That's an obvious one. But he's got Eubank to deal with.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Meaning's been going back a while, but I feel like at the moment it's pointless me even mentioning his name because he's in this Eubank saga. So it is what it is.
Do you rate him or not?
Conor. I think he's come on. I think he's improved, but I don't think he's anywhere near what I am and level as a boxer. I think there's a lot of hype behind him. So
it's a great style matchup, you and him. When you see the silhouettes moving, the dance is a great one.
No, mate, it's the fighter against the boxer. Do you know what I mean? So the matches are perfect. But again, he's got this thing with Eubank, so he's tied up there. Regarding the others, I think Zayas will be a perfect fight for me. I'd take that in a heartbeat. Where I don't know who he's fighting next. Obviously,
well, he's just become champion
2
last
weeks ago, hasn't he? In the what was it? In the what was it? Madison Square Garden?
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago.
Last week he became champion. Listen, this division's really, really interesting right now, and you are perfectly placed, as you just pointed out there, with 2 sanctioning bodies, number 3 and number 1, right? So you've got the Murtazalia thing. It really interested me because I thought that was going to materialise for you, but I think there was a period. You get a period of time with the IBF, don't you, to negotiate, and that kind of expired. They call them mandatory, so I think he's going to be fighting Lubin, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the direction that he's going to be going in, right? So he's got to go.
I think so, but we never got an offer for that fight. So we put our name there, but we never got an offer. So.
Okay. Well, that's interesting within itself.
I don't
because there was a voluntary option there for him over a period of time, and then that next.
Far as I know, I wasn't said, right, Josh, it's this much money, it's this date, it's that. None of that. Nothing.
Okay.
Or like we're looking at this, nothing like that.
Right. Okay. I'm sure you've seen all the noise regarding the Jaron Ennis thing.
Presumably, that's the easiest fight to make.
Well, what's happened with the Jaron Ennis thing? Because I saw an interview with Eddie Hearn saying we've offered Josh Kelly Jaron Ennis. And we've given him a certain period of time to do the thing, and
we accept it. We accept it, and then everything's went quiet. And I've heard of 4 other fighters also who's been approached for that fight. Yeah. So you've got me and 3 other fighters.
I think Virgil Ortiz has been approached for it as well.
I think Rashid Ellis, who was a 147. So what? Right. I don't get I don't get what the. I've heard another name today. I don't know if it's made, but. I'm thinking that fight's being made, so I'm like, what's the deal?
What do you do in that scenario, Josh? Like telling the public now and telling us that you both got the same promoter, So what do you do in terms of getting in contact with Eddie or your agent or your advisor?
You're not with Eddie, are you?
No,
You're not with Eddie. He's not with Eddie.
Wasserman.
Oh, sorry, you're with Wasserman. So what do you do? Do you get him? Do you get Wasserman? Do you get the guys to speak to Eddie about that and push the case? They've got a great relationship with him.
Well, Adam's my manager, so he does the talking alongside me promoters Callum. But I believe there was they reached out. Eddie's lawyer reached out to Adam and said we want something along the lines of like we need an answer within the next 24 hours, and they give us a low ball offer, and we were like, how can we make a decision like that in 24 hours? And then they went straight to the media with saying we've offered Josh Kelly the fight, so they were trying to play a bit of a game, and I was like, this is moving mad for me. I said, listen, I'll take the fight in a heartbeat. I'm ready for these big fights
in America,
in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
So Jaron Ennis has a date, doesn't he, of October the 11th? That's what he's trying to fill. So he's fighting on that date no matter what.
Yeah.
So I agree with what you're saying. It feels like it's a case of, right, let's throw a few situations out here. Let's see what we can create in order to get Jaron Ennis a relatively straightforward move to 154, because he's moving up in weight, isn't he? He's the former 147 champion. He's coming up to your weight division.
Sorry, Aaron, but I heard that he's signed to fight Virgil Ortiz next year in 26.
Yes.
Right?
So they're looking for one before that.
I'm not sure if they're just trying to get the feet wet with a 154 fight, or they really want to test themselves.
That's what it feels like.
And that's not you.
Because listen, Jaron Ennis top fighter, right?
Yes.
But I believe he's never boxed anyone with my style, right? Nor have I boxed.
He's not been at 154.
I know if I boxed anyone with his style, but I know in myself, I'm a lot bigger at 154. I'm a natural 154. I'm hitting a lot harder. Mate, and I'm that guy who can upset the odds on any night with any of these given guys. And I believe myself to go and beat Jaron Ennis. I mean, I have to knock him out in Philadelphia, but I mean, I'll go over there and I'll put an absolute show on.
So with that in mind, the offer came in. It was low, but you still accepted it. You said, "Yeah, go on."
There was a period of negotiation for a little bit, and then we said,
"You got to a deal."
Got to a number. I said, "Yeah, Sam, go on." And then nothing now, nothing. So I've heard nothing. So
they were calling your bluff, you feel, at the time, rather than wanting the fight.
It's a bit of a wait. Like, why are you negotiating? We're like, I don't know why you would negotiate with 4 different fighters for the same fight. Like, I don't know. I don't know what their tactic was. I don't know whether Eddie was like, yeah, see if Josh will take this fight. And I was like, it'd be stupid not to. I believe myself more than ever. I'm where I need to be more than ever in my career, so why would I not take these fights?
Jaron Ennis, for someone who's had the career that he's had, has also been in the cupboard, as far as I'm concerned, and his he's
been good. Come on, he's been good. He's been good in the lower weight divisions. And
he has, but what I mean is he hasn't had much resonance in the wider sphere of the sport.
Yeah, I think since Eddie started promoting
and
him,
the union with Eddie Hearn's been good for him. I mean, I'd like to see him over here fighting. Yeah, my view.
Yeah, I think Stanionis is his best win.
Yes,
Stanionis is solid, but other than that, I'm not sure whether Avanesyan might have been his best win before that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That's like talking about when I used to. That keeps getting brought up. That's like, I remember when I had took my first thing when I was a kid. Do you know what I mean? Like I used to change nappies when I was 20 years ago. It's like it's old story for me now. It was 5 years ago, but I was dead, totally dead at the weight, walking around like a zombie, and I was suffering with loads of stuff. So to get out of change rooms, do 6 rounds like I did was crazy with the cuts I had and everything else. But I'm 154 now, and I'm totally different. I'm a total different.
Well, that's evident in the last 7 fights. The growth has been there. We'll talk about that growth.
Yeah.
And even though the politics of boxing is incredibly frustrating, mate, where we're waiting for fights and trying to get those big opportunities, we will try and navigate that path and help you navigate that path in the next section. Do stick with us. You listen to Fight Night on talkSPORT. This is Fight Night on talkSPORT. I'm Adam Cattrall. Gareth Davies is alongside me, and British super welterweight Josh Kelly's in the studio with us. Little bit frustrated, obviously, looking for his next knock. Do you have a date in mind of when you want to get out?
I want there'll be one fight before the end of this year, obviously, because I got unless it's just a little fight and a big fight this year. If I'm looking for these big fights, it's going to be one fight by the end of this year, so I don't mind.
The Gareth was just saying there in the break regarding the growth of you over last 5 years, 7 fights since the Avanesian moment where. You know, you took a little bit of a bashing. Let's be dead.
It hit you hard anyway, and you've grown as a person and as a fighter since then. Can you talk to us about that a little bit? What you've gone through?
Yeah, it was a bit. It was all before. It was a bit deep. I said before I was suffering like my form of hypochondria. I was just like thinking I'm getting sick before every fight I go in. Just the pressure I put on myself. Like even previous fights, I go to in the hotel room, there'd be Lensip stacked up. I'd be Lemsipping all week, even if it's nothing, just the fingers crossed so this keeps it away. And it was just mad. I was washing my hands all the time. Seeing the kids, I was sort of like starting to be a bit more like, don't let the kids get dirty and stuff, and become a real problem. And then eventually showed out in that week there where it's COVID. I'm being paranoid like mad. I'm in this hotel room, can't go for a walk. I'm obviously trying to make the weight. I'm dead on the weight. So you got all these things going against us. And at the same time, I'm going out on the camera there, talking like I'm normal. But then I'm going back to my hotel room, breaking down, can't get no sleep. And I'm like, and the guys in my training camp were talking to my coach beforehand, before the fight. And my coach was like, listen, we should really put him out of this fight this week. But we can't do it because the fight's it's meant to be made, so I'm not going to do that again. Do you know what I mean? So I've got the towel, so if it comes, and I remember taking 7 shots of caffeine to get myself out of the change rooms, and my heart was going 100 miles an hour, but my head was just so calm and like not calm. It was just so like full that I just felt like locked out. Like if you watch the ring walk before, I'm just pacing up and down, just looking, and like one of the guys in the gym, Charlie Beat, he said, "Listen." He's a very religious man. I'm religious as well. And I said the night before the fight, I said, Charlie, can you stay in the room a little bit? Because I want to have someone there so I can fall asleep and relax.
You needed a cuddle, didn't you? Almost.
Well, there, I just said, I need someone there to, like, just, you sit there, we'll put the telly on, I'll probably nod off because I've had no sleep all week. He was like, yeah, sound. So anyways, I remember saying, Charlie, what time is it? He said, 6 o'clock. I went, what? In the morning, he went, yeah. I went, mate, I've been tossing and turning all night. He went, I haven't had no sleep. He went, no, you haven't. He says, we'll just try and get a nap this afternoon. And he says, Josh, it's still a miracle today how you got out of that change room and went and performed for 4 or 5 rounds like you did, because he says, I've seen everything, what was going on. It was crazy. Do you know what I mean?
So from that point, obviously, you lose the fight, right? You take a bashing from the fans, you take a bashing, well, you end up losing your promotional deal, TV, all these types of things. The world's crashing in and around you.
Well, I didn't lose the promotional deal. Eddie wanted the thing, but I just ended up just looking at it.
But you sever ties then with Matchroom. You come away from that. At what point do you start to rebuild? Do you go and see somebody? What happens?
I was just talking to a few people and stuff, and then a good friend who got here is Stephen. My brother, he does property courses, and he says he wants to talk to you about something because he thinks he can help you with boxing. And I was like, how can he help me with boxing? So I go on the Zoom call with him, and he sat there and he's just talking like about mindset and stuff like this. And I'm like, you haven't got a clue what you're talking about. You've never put a pair of gloves on in your life. And I said, I'll come for my brother and we'll do this property thing for him, and I'll talk to you. Anyway, start doing a few things with him, and he started doing these different. Loads of different things with us, and they were really making an impact. And we did some deep stuff where it broke down at times, and I thought, whoa, this is like obviously people go on about mental health, but the mental side of the game, bro. Listen, training is a lot of mental, but it's probably 80% physical, right? Fight night, it's all done. It's 90% mental, maybe 10% physical. Do you know what I mean? Everything's about your mind, the way you go in, everything. So even the things he says to us, little things at the start, I just take little baby steps. Like I fought, I forgot, was it Kramer? Then I fought this Argentine kid who was pretty hard puncher. Then we jumped
Lucas Bastido.
Yeah, that's it. Then we jumped to Troy Williamson, which for me was a big jump at the time. Everyone wrote me off in that fight again, and then put a performance on there. And then we just started looking for these, but we needed a bigger fight, and it never really come to fruition. And we tried to get the Liam Smith fight, and I was like, right, yes, this is the one. Then obviously, unfortunately, he got sick. Yeah. And then
But dealing with Ishmael Davis last minute like that, that's tough in itself, having to deal with those little things.
Yeah, I mean...
But I went to see you for an off-the-cuff with DAZN in this period as well, when you'd started with Adam Booth, who, again, is a very big mental guy, isn't he?
Yeah,
he is about mental strength. We call him the Dark Lord, of course, when he was training David Hay. He always had a plan.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Spencer Oliver even came down with those platform boots recently to make himself 5'9" to hold the pads for you. Yeah. I remember sitting with you and you revealed all these transformations about yourself, but it's made you a happier person to go deeper inside yourself. You broke yourself down and you built yourself up again. You went through difficulties in your personal life, but you really you're very strong now, physically, mentally, psychologically, socially, all those things. You're not worried about not washing your hands.
I'm not worried about it. The thing is, I'm not worried about anything now.
Good.
It's like you get one walk through this life, and what's going to happen is going to happen. You try your best at everything you do, but you worry about something so much, and 90% of the time it doesn't come true. And next, you don't know what's promised tomorrow. Tomorrow's not promised. I've known guys, even in the last 6 months, I've knew them, talked to them a couple of days ago, and then the next thing you know, a couple of months later, that guy's died. And I was like, what? I mean, the sad story about Georgia O'Connor, the boxer, do you know what I mean? Like
25 years old, 25
She was just
years
messaging
young.
me on social media, talking about things, about like health, and I was trying to say, there's some natural ways, different things, and to say that, it just shocks you. It's just like, mate, life's too short, so why worry about boxing? Why worry about the things involved in whose opinion counts? What's that guy thinking? What's this guy? Which way you walking? Which way you... Mate, nothing matters. End of the day, go in there, enjoy yourself, do your best, train hard, and what'll come will come. Do you know what I mean? I believe in myself, and I believe I am the best in Britain. I'm the best at the moment in Britain in my weight class. I think I'm one of the, if not the biggest talent at the moment in Britain. But I just need that breakout fight. One of these guys take the fight. I need one of these guys to take the fight and show myself.
Do you think you're going to have to get yourself in a mandatory situation?
I'm not sure. Listen, Zayas is there. Zayas was calling for me not long back. He was calling for me on Sky Sports.
I like that fight for you as Xander Zayas, the WBO champion. As soon as he on this show last week, Adam and I weren't together. I was with Sam Jones, and I was saying straight away, Xander Zayas, perfect matchup for you right now.
Like, no disrespect, I think he's a great talent. He's only 22. He lacks experience, and I think I'll be able to take him places he's never been before. In terms of styles and stuff like that, I think I'll eventually stand him on his head, but. That's my opinion, and I believe on that 100%. I stand on that 100%. He's 22, he's too young. He got a bit of a gift with Perez. I'll go in there and I'll take it off him.
There's Keith Thurman around as well.
Yeah, I mean
that's a name.
But that's a name. That's a name. But
you're chasing titles.
Yeah, I'm chasing titles. Like if I want to get these big fights, the big fights will fill stadiums. Then I've got a world title. Come get me now.
When you get the world title, you chase Conor Benn then, in my view.
Well, I don't chase him. He'll be chasing me.
Or he'll be chasing you.
Yeah.
But what I mean is it leverages a big money fight for you as well.
Is like but also it's like there's never been a world champion from Sunderland. I'd love to be the first one ever. I believe I can be. Do you know what I mean? So,
there's a man with no hair, by the way, before we do say goodbye. Come on, he's saying the hair competition tonight. He's got no grey, so there's no way I can win this.
You can't.
You haven't got any grey hair in there. No, there's none in there.
Listen, come on, man. He's
still the pretty boy for me.
He's Mediterranean slick look.
He is. Well, living in Seville now, of course, which is brilliant for you as well, away from the limelight.
Yeah. The thing is, regarding the Xander Zayas fight, that fight that he recently had, I think it was the last one on the ESPN deal over in the States.
It was for Top Rank. It was.
So they're currently without a broadcaster. So therefore, being able to get the dough to make the fight, because you would imagine that they would want to do a voluntary for him, either somewhere in America or in Puerto Rico or something like that, wouldn't you? You know, to take him home in front of the fans for a first defence. So therefore, you would have to travel. I know you've no problem with
Vamos a Puerto Rico.
It's just getting the dough together in order to get that on an American broadcaster, isn't it? Maybe that's something for Riyadh season or something because Zayas is a top talent. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. I think I'm moving Saudi next week with David. So
get on it, man.
I'll grab Turkey for a little chat. I'll grab Turkey for a little chat. I'll be like, come on, bro.
You're over with David Adelaide.
Yeah.
Can he do it against Philip Hrgovic?
He's been looking sensational in the gym. It's the best I've ever seen him.
Are you cornering then as well? Are you in the corner?
I'm just in the team. But like he hits hard, man. He doesn't need to think about his power. Doesn't need to load up. He just needs to let the shots go.
Yeah.
And people go sleep. I've seen it in the gym.
There's a new belief about him, it seems.
Yeah, he's got Well, mate, the transformation's been 2 years, Adam, or a year?
Yeah. Only a year. It's after the Woodley one, isn't it? He lost the Woodley and then he came over.
So I seen him when he first come in the gym, and I was like, yeah, he's big and strong, athletic, but I don't know, he's a bit. And then now he's moving like he's moving slicker than me. Sometimes I'm like, you're moving mad.
For him to launch himself, he can beat Hrgovic. He can get himself some big fights after that.
Listen, I hope you get this date next week when you're speaking to Mr. Turkey, because we could do without you doing your thing.
I want Turkey.
Make the fights. And then once that happens, listen, the obvious fight down the line is you and Conor Benn, isn't it?
I think so.
That's the obvious fight for 150 pounds.
If he takes it, we'll soon see.
Josh, top man, thank you very much for being
Great
here.
to see you as always.
Stick with us because Josh Watts is going to be on the show in a moment or two. Don't go anywhere. You listen to Fight Night.
All right, bless up, brother.
Knows there are 20 managers in the Premier League, yeah? Well, actually, no. Around 3/4 of them are not managers. The terms manager and head coach are often used interchangeably to describe Premier League bosses, but they're actually two different jobs. So let's explain how and why. For years, fans referred to Mikel Arteta as Arsenal's manager, but I'm afraid technically...
I don't think so, no.
From his first day on the job, he was the Gunners' head coach. Let's pick a random moment in time, February 2025. Only 6 Premier League bosses actually held the official title of manager rather than head coach. Man City's Pep Guardiola, David Moyes of Everton, Ipswich boss Kieran McKenna, Southampton's Ivan Juric, Oliver Glasner at Crystal Palace and Leicester's Ruud van Nistelrooy were the only actual managers of their respective teams. Everyone else? That's right, head coach, including Ruben Amorim at Man United. He took over from Erik ten Hag, a man who had held the title of manager. Might come as a surprise that Amorim's appointment marked the first time ever that Man United had a head coach instead of a manager. But to understand why they made that decision, you also have to get what the difference is between a head coach and a manager. A manager's got a huge range of responsibilities. They're not just in charge of training and player lineups, they're also heavily involved in player sales and transfers. Critical stuff. But a head coach's role is far more focused on team training and performance on the pitch. So whereas Ten Hag was highly involved with decisions around transfers during his tenure, the intention was that Amorim wouldn't be, at least not on the same level. And as the sporting structure at Man United changed under Sir Jim Ratcliffe, people like Sir Dave Brailsford took charge of transfers instead. How all those roles play out in practice may be slightly different at different clubs though. On the other hand, the contracts of actual managers like Pep or Moyes had no limit on their job role and their involvement with transfers and contracts. But those guys are actually in the minority now, and it's a change that's happened pretty quickly. In 2019, there were only 6 head coaches in the Premier League, but by 2025 there were 14. A clear indication that more and more clubs are moving towards a model where the guy in charge is actually only really in charge on the pitch. And the way things are going, it might not be long before all 20 clubs have got head coaches, and the job position of football manager in the top flight is no more.
Nothing like boxing on the radio, and we've got plenty more to get stuck into as we bring you live commentary next week of Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte. That's live on talkSPORT. We're going to give you a bit of a preview of that undercard, which we're going to be bringing you live on next Saturday's show. We're going to be speaking to Josh Boazzi very, very shortly, and we're also going to have Cameron Vuong and Gavin Gwyn on the show at the same time. Could be fireworks. Stick around for that. 03717 22 3344 is the telephone number if you want to get involved. And we are streaming on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel right now. So if you want to get involved in the comment section, you are more than welcome to do so. Now then, I tell you what, that was good, wasn't it? Josh Kelly. Fingers crossed that in Saudi Arabia next week you'll be able to get him a fight.
Absolutely, we'll just get him in front of Turkey.
The right way.
Well, hopefully Xander's out there as well, or Jaron Ennis is out there, and we'll certainly be stirring it up as much as possible. We'll get him on some of the podcasts through the week that I'll be doing with Spencer Oliver, who'll be like an ever-ready battery out there next week in the 45-degree heat.
Yes. Make sure he's got his sun cream on.
When you're in, by the way, when you're in Ibiza, do you go? I know you're a big runner. Do you go 5 a.m. before it gets hot?
No, mate. I like to get a sweat on.
Do you
10 a.m. 10 a.m. job.
Oh my!
When the sun's up. Listen, when you've been out and about eating tapas all night, son, you need to cut weight the day after, don't you?
And churros.
Yeah, you mate.
And churros with all that azúcar.
I'll tell you what, mate, you need to be cutting weight the day after, let me tell you, sweating it out. Now then, big news this week. We've already spoken about the new TV deal for Boxer. Slightly before that, there was an announcement of a new signing for Queensberry. And also, not just that, but the announcement of his first fight underneath that promotional banner, which is going to be taking place on November the 1st. Looking forward to this because it's in my hometown of Manchester, and he's going to be welcoming Zach Parker to the arena that night. It is, of course, the one, the only, Mr. Joshua Boazzi, who's given up a bit of time on a Saturday night to come and join us. Mr. Boazzi, how are you?
Adam, good evening. I'm good, thank you. How you doing, Gareth?
Very good, thank you, sir.
There we go. We got you there, mate, on the screen. We could see you bright and breezy. Talk to me through this, mate, because obviously there's been a promotional change and an announcement of the fight. We'll talk about the first one first, because I'm sure there were plenty of options on the table. Why Queensberry? Why have you made that move now?
I think if you look at all the shows that are going on, Adam, a lot of great fights are happening. And when you look at who's involved, it tends to be Queensberry. So for me, I live in England. I fight out of that country. There's some good light heavies in that stable, as you know, that I'd love to mix up with. So it was a move that made sense for me. A move that my team said, you know what, this is the route we're going to take. So that's what happened.
Is that? Can I decipher from what you said there, then, if Anthony Yarde, regardless of what happens with Anthony Yarde and his fight, with David Benavidez in November, I believe. In November. And your fight with Zach Parker, that could be, regardless of whether you both win or lose, or one wins, one loses, that is a fight that we shall see next, given that you're both now under the Queensberry banner.
Yeah. You know, Gareth, I'm not a promoter, but it should be now really, really easy to make. You know, previously we had different promoters and all these things were in the way, but now being in the same stable, you'd think it's very, it's very straightforward. It should be straightforward to say, look, right, see, you got this out of the way, Yard, you got this out of the way, can we do this next? So, as of now, I've got November the 1st to focus on, and that's where my mind is at.
What are the learns from the last one? Josh, obviously up against Callum, it was a cracking fight. Really enjoyed watching it, but you came out on the wrong side of the result that night. What are the takeaways from that?
It's a lot, but mainly to summarise it, it's that if you went into war with a strategy and you didn't come out on top, you have to change the strategy going into war again. So whatever it is that we're doing in camp, we're making a few changes. And hopefully that will show November the 1st.
Regarding those changes, come on, man, you got to lighten it up. What's going on here? Are we going southpaw? Are we? You got to let us know.
No, we're gonna tighten up on the D, and I'm not gonna say I'm gonna come out as a new boxer or whatever it is, because no mistake made, that the fight with Smith was a good competitive fight. It's not as though I got knocked out in the 5th round and then everyone went home. No, it was a close competitive fight. But like you said, I didn't come out on top, so I can't sit here as though I came out on top. My hands wasn't lifted that night, and that's all. I only trained for that. I didn't train to come second place. There isn't no such thing as second place in our sport, as you guys know. So, it's to make sure I come out first place on November the 1st.
It's a new experience, though. So what have you learnt about yourself during that process? Are you quite self-reflective in those moments? I say all the time when I speak to fighters that anybody can be anything in victory. It's only in defeat that you start to learn properly about yourself.
Yeah.
So,
do you know what's mad? I learned certain stuff within myself about, in boxing. But when I look at my life outside the ring, I didn't have to learn anything new. I had the same people that were around me every time that I win, which has been for many, many years. The best thing, one of the best things, a lot of things happened to me after this fight. One of the best things that happened was that when I was coming from the Middle East to England, my sisters brought all their kids around, and it was a surprise. I didn't know. So as I entered the house, they were there, the kids was there. That really stuck close to me, and it's always like that. After my fights, I'm with my friends, I'm with my family. The same people that I saw after all the 19 wins that I had were the same people that I saw on the 20th fight that I lost. So there wasn't anything new to experience in that sense. I've always kept it the same people. So that was quite peaceful to me to see that, you know what?
That's good.
Whenever I won, you lot were there. When I lost, you lot were there, But in terms of boxing, yes, I've said in previous interviews, you learn that you've got a heart, you got a chin, all of that stuff. But as we know, boxing is not the sport to come and demonstrate who's got big balls,
Joshua, I've known you a decade, or just over a decade, and I don't know if you know, but I scored the fight a draw, by the way. I thought it was a very, very close fight. A lot of the highlights, apocryphally in my mind, were Callum coming back against you. I scored it 6 rounds apiece. I think, you might think this is weird, I think it's one of the finest performances I've ever seen you give. Because I think you did show heart and tenacity to the end. It was an extraordinary spectacle to watch. And I think, hopefully, you actually grow from the performance.
Yeah. I mean, Gareth, the result is always to get a win. But in defeat, you have to look at, what went right, what worked, what did you show, what new environment were you exposed to, how did you handle it? And, I've questioned myself. Some of the rounds were tough. I was getting it. I had to dig in, give back. I had to show things that I hadn't shown before. And I can sit on talkSPORT and tell you how much of a great boxer I am. I've got heart, I've got this, I've got that. But when it's time to demonstrate it in the bright lights, you don't know what's going to happen. And for me, I've been there now and I've shown it. So, from that point of view, I'm like, okay, cool. If the going gets tough, I know I can hang in there.
We do know that about you. Honestly, it's a fight that will live in the memory for a very, very long time with all of us. If you were to outline 4 or 5 more fights, we know the level you're at now. If there were 3, let's say there were 3 more fights or 4 more fights that you absolutely wanted in your career, what would they be?
Zach Parker, Anthony Yard, and whoever has the belt. Yes, I don't think there should be any other. You spoke about the Yard fight earlier on, Gareth, and like I said, we have the same promoters now. So after we both fight in November, it shouldn't be very difficult to say, guys, I'm the promoter of both of you. What's next? What are you two saying? So it shouldn't be hard.
I'm surprised you're not naming Dmitry Bivol in that list or Artur Beterbiev in that list or even a rematch with Callum.
He said then he wants the champion. He wants the champion.
Yeah, I said, Gareth, whoever's got the belt. But mind you, yesterday I saw a picture of Bivol. I think he had a back surgery.
He was in hospital in the hospital.
I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, did. Yeah.
Yes. Come on, someone's in hospital, but I'm not going to call the person out. But yeah.
What challenges does Zach Parker bring you on November the 1st, Josh?
A big challenge. He's someone that I think he fought for the interim at super middle.
Yeah. And
he lost due to injury. So this is a big challenge. Is someone that sees this as an opportunity to, put himself in a good path. So, and I'm also trying to put myself back in a good path. So, it's a massive challenge. I'm by no means taking it lightly or thinking, it's only Parker. No way. It's a first fight after defeat as well. So it's a big challenge for me.
Listen, he's a very talented lad, is Zach Parker. But as you rightfully pointed out a month or two ago, the pathway's there. Should you be successful on November the 1st, I think the majority of fight fans, off the back of what happens on November the 22nd, are going to call for Joshua Buatsi versus Anthony Yard. It's a fight that I think everybody wants to see. And then that leads you, as you rightfully pointed out, we don't know how that light heavyweight division is going to look landscape-wise next year. Belts, we would imagine, will get fragmented. Maybe, those older statesmen, the likes of the Beterbievs, might call time on their career, but there will be opportunities there with the likes of the Benavides, maybe with the Bivols, and maybe with Callum Smith again as a rematch, maybe later down the line. There's 3 fights. There's a 3-fight path there that is really, really exciting from your point of view, and obviously from a British fight fan's point of view.
Yeah, there is. And I think I always say to, people when I'm talking to them, it's always a good thing when there's other fighters that people want to see you fight. So the Smith fight was quite an exciting fight from what I've heard. And I wouldn't mind actually doing that again. I didn't mind to do it straight after the fight in February. But again, I wouldn't mind to do it again. So it's always good when there's someone else that people want to see you fight. Mm-hmm. And, I'm open to fights, man. I'm not, avoiding them. I want to be in these fights.
Joshua, I know exactly where you are. I recognise that gym in the background. You're in the Oakland gym of Virgil Hunter. Yeah. Give him our best, by the way. I haven't seen him for a little while. There he is. There's the Oakland gym. I remember that place with Amir Khan, Andre Ward, Tony Yoka and others. It's a sweatshop, isn't it? Yeah. It really is a sweatshop.
No, it is. It is. Whenever I walk in here, Gareth, I know the hard work that lays ahead. So it's a mixed emotion. I'm like, yep, we're here to work hard. Then when it hits in that it's going to be really hard work, I'm like, damn, we've got to get it done. But there's always a price to pay. So this is where we sacrifice and we make things happen.
Give our regards to Virgil Hunter, the man I call the headmaster there in that big room that you all work out in.
No, I will do, man.
Just to finish, Josh, obviously we wish you all the best in camp. Stay fit, stay healthy. How do you think, seeing as that it is your division and we've just been speaking about it, how do you think Anthony gets on against David Benavides at the end of November?
Look, I think it's 2 styles that will actually gel quite well. Benavides is not I don't think he's gonna be jabbing and moving around. He's gonna be coming with the punches and bunches, and Yard is gonna stand there and try and have a shootout, as he said. So I think it's 2 styles that actually I think if you're looking at it, you can't wait to imagine what's going to look like in real life. So, of course, they're my division, but as a fan of boxing, I'm like, this is a good fight, and it's one that I'm looking forward to. Again, it's boxing. I think we've seen so many upsets in the ring, and whoever you think is going to be a favourite, you never quite know until that final bell goes. So I'm always on the fence with this because I always say to people, it's hard for me to judge other people's fights. If I'm in a fight, then I can be like, oh, this is how it's going to go. And I got my last fight wrong. So better keep quiet and watch what happens in this one.
I can tell you're in camp, mate, because that beard is coming on strong.
Yeah.
Listen, enjoy it. Stay fit, stay healthy, and we look forward to seeing you in Manchester on November the 1st, mate.
Cheers, Joshua. Cheers.
Top man. There you go. Joshua Boazzi tuning in there from the States, getting himself ready for Zach Parker, which is coming up on November the 1st. Congratulations to him on, obviously, his new deal with Queensberry. Onwards and upwards, and as we've just been pointing out, a mouth-watering road, should he be successful in all those clashes, to some seriously big fights in the light heavyweight division. Gareth's going to try and make a rematch next. That's right. Cameron Vuong and Gavin Gwyn are going to be joining us on the show. Don't go anywhere. Right, batten down the hatches. Gareth A. Davis is ready. Are you ready? Here we go. You listen to Fight Night on talkSPORT. I'm Adam Cattrall. Gareth A. Davis is alongside me. We've seen these two go at it once already last November in a great fight, little back and forth, of which Cameron Vuong had his hand raised on the cards that night. And a lot of people thought that Gavin Gwyn was very hard done by on the scorecards that evening. Both men very kindly have given up a bit of time to come and join us on a Saturday night. I've seen them on social media going back and forth with each other, and it's a fight that I'm absolutely thirsty to see. So let's welcome them. Cameron, first of all, welcome to you. How are you, mate? You good?
All good, mate. Thank you. How are you?
Very well indeed. Thank you very much for coming to join us. And Gavin, I believe you're there as well. So welcome to the show. How are you, Gav?
Yeah, all good. Thank you. All good.
Great to have you both on. I know that you're probably sick at sight of each other already this week because I know that you've had a little bit of a go at each other on the old stomping ground. Cameron, I'll come to you first and foremost because obviously you were the man that was victorious the first time around, as per the judges. Rematch, mate. A lot of fight fans want to see the rematch. What is the current situation with this? I know that obviously you work with Sam, and you've got a good promotional team behind you. I'm sure you, as a fighter, would be responding to what the fans want, and the fans are thirsty for it, mate. So where's your head at with it?
Yeah, of course. I wanted to run it back. I've said since I got on that taxi back at the hotel that very night. But that's the reason I've got a management team. I've been asking for this fight since that night. And we're here now. I believe Gavin's got a fight date next week. I've got one penciled in a couple of weeks after. And then we're going to get right to it.
Do you reckon we could get that before the end of the year?
Yeah, 100%. I want to do it before the end of the year. I know Gav's up for it before the end of the year. And I think that's what the people want to see as well. I want to give the fans, the British public, what they want to see. And this is it. This is the fight.
Have you watched it back, the first one?
Yeah, I've watched it back. I've said many times, and I stand on what I say. I believe I won the fight by 2 rounds. It was very close, nip and tuck in there, but I believe I did enough early on and finished rounds 9 and 10 strong enough to edge the fight.
Gav, let me bring you in, mate. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I thought I won it quite comfortably, 6 rounds to 4. Could he even gone 7-3? But that's just giving him a bit of, obviously, his cleaner work. It did stand out, but I was throwing a lot more shots. I was walking him down in stages of the fight. He was running from me. I had to chase him from one side of the ring to the other. It was a bit of a cat and mouse sort of fight, and he was just running from me the whole fight. And even Eddie said after the fight, and that's his own promoter, he said, I won it, so it says it all. And obviously the public had their say as well obviously on socials and everything else, and they're demanding the rematch. I've got the short end of the stick, so to speak. After that fight, I have managed to get a fight. I've had that fight because my good performance is my undoing because no one wanted to fight me. So hopefully now we can get this one signed off and give the British fans another great night. Yeah.
Like you say, Gavin, the British fans and fans in general, it was a brilliant fight. Want to see it again. The 3 judges scored it, just for the record, 96-95, Lee Every, Victor Laughlin, 97-94, which I thought was a bit wide, and Mark Lyson, 96-94, all 3 in favour of Cameron. Cameron, is Gavin talking some poppycock there?
I think a little bit. I think the word robbery gets thrown about a little bit too much in the sport. But, Gav just said himself there, he had it 6-4, which, listen, you could have had it 6-4 either way, 5-5. I got the nod on the night on all 3 judges' cards, and I don't think you can argue with that. I think robberies in close fights get muddled up a little bit too much.
It was a robbery, let's be quite honest.
You can't say it's a robbery, Gav, when you've just said it's 6-4.
If your own promoter is saying that you lost the fight, it's obviously a robbery, innit? Do you know what I mean? And even Sam come up to me in the ring after and said sorry. And that's your own manager saying that.
Yeah, but Sam also said right hand to God with Catterall and Progress.
We seen you in the change. We seen you in the changing rooms after the fight, and you didn't win that fight.
I seen you in the changing rooms after the fight, mate, and your face was an absolute mess. So
I'm always like that. Like I've said before, I'm a come forward fighter.
It's not my fault that you
all night long.
Well, listen,
Just-
I could have took
just
them all
easy
night.
work.
You never hurt me once in that fight, mate. Not
Yeah,
once.
don't worry about that. I hit it with thousands of shots. That's what it was. That's what won me the fight. But obviously, you got lucky with the judges.
All right, well, I'm pretty happy when I look at BoxRec and I see that W next to your name, mate. I feel
I'm pretty happy with BoxRec as well. Have a little look on mine.
Cameron, if I could come to you first, will we need the judges when we get to a rematch?
I don't believe so. No, I believe the improvements I've made in the gym. I believe I've matured a lot since that fight. I've learned a lot. Obviously, I've got a new team. I believe it'll be a completely different fight this time round. I believe I will get him out there. I can't see him making the full 10.
You've moved to Benn now, is that right? Are you with Ben Davison now?
Yeah.
What was the thought process behind that?
I just felt like I needed a fresh start, a change. I feel like Ben Davison and Lee Wiley are fantastic coaches. They were a great fit for my style. And I went down there and I loved it. And I gelled with both Ben and Lee. And I felt that's a good move and the best next step for me in my career.
Can I just say, guys, when you do step into the ring a second time, I hope you're going to be rewarded financially for it as well. How important is that, as well as obviously wanting to get back into the ring with each other in what is a brilliant matchup?
It's massive. Like obviously me and Cam, like it's a massive fight for British public, let alone the world. So we want to be rewarded because obviously the first fight was a great fight.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to get rewarded for that. Like I'm former British, Commonwealth and European champion, so I think I deserve that myself. And I think it should be on a massive stage. I think the Eubank and Benn undercard would be fitting. Obviously, that being a rematch, and mine and Cam's being a rematch. I think that would be a fitting venue,
It's a great call.
show to go on. Yeah,
that's a great call, Gavin.
Gavin, on what you were just saying a moment or two ago, and people will have their opinions, obviously, on how the first fight was scored.
Yeah.
Listen, we've all seen the social media backlash where a lot of people did believe that you should have had the nod that particular night.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. And you've just mentioned there that has had massive ramifications for your life and your career. You've had to make different decisions going forward.
Yeah.
Talk me through those decisions, because a victory would have put you in a completely different position, and that victory didn't come, so now you've had to make some other life-changing decisions.
Yeah, so like a victory there, I would have had a contract with Matchroom. Obviously, I would have had a 3-fight contract with Matchroom. So obviously that fell through. And then going off that performance, no one was going to stick their prospects in there with me. Knowing that I just come out of that fight and the performance I obviously that was my first fight with Gary Lockett as well. So obviously I'm going to be better in the next fight now. But like a lot of sponsors dropped off for me, so financially I wasn't able to be a full-time boxer. Like I've been a full-time boxer for 5 years. I'm so grateful for the sponsors that did support me over them years. But obviously, when I'm not boxing on these big shows, I'm not fighting. It's not viable for them. So they obviously had to pull off, and I've had to go back to work. But I'm a bit of a workhorse anyway. I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning doing what I did when I first turned pro. Go out and run in the roads, and then go on the work site and do a full day's graft, then come home and straight up the gym. Like, so it is a lot harder now. But hopefully, obviously, when this fight gets signed, I'm going to take 8 weeks off work and fully concentrate on boxing and getting the job done and getting my career back on track.
And I mentioned, well, I asked Cameron this question: do we need the judges the second time around?
I don't think we will, because if Cameron stays in the pocket with me like he's saying he's gonna, because I don't know what's going through his head. If he thinks he's going to stay in the pocket with me, it'll be an early night's work for myself.
Will you stay in the pocket with him, Cam?
Also, listen, Gavin's a pressure fighter. There's going to be times in that fight where I've got to sit in the pocket with him. And I've told Gav, I said, listen, mate, I will sit in that pocket with you and I'll rip your face up. And that's what I'll do.
It ain't happening. Because
we'll find out, mate.
You were knackered after 5 rounds last time. You may as well have put trainers on in our ring last time. You must have run a marathon.
Well, gents, the repartee between you has been absolutely brilliant.
Well, you've sold
tonight.
it.
You really have sold
I'm in.
it. Yeah,
Get this on. We're Benn Eubank on the card.
We're all in, and the thing to take away from this is you two deserve a massive platform for putting yourselves on the line for a second time in what is going to be another thrilling fight, whichever way it goes. Yeah. And I think it's a great call to say on the undercard of Benn and Eubank at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on November the 15th, and I hope the promoters are listening and Turki Al Sheikh is listening
Fingers
as well.
crossed.
Yeah,
Fingers
absolutely,
crossed.
for both of you.
It just makes sense. Me and Cam have both boxed on Saudi shows as well, so there's nothing new to us. And obviously, it being in England, it'd be brilliant for the British fans. Like,
agreed.
Gavin, thank you so much for your time. Cameron, same to you, my man. Thank you so much for giving up a bit of time to come and join us.
Cheers, gents.
Fingers crossed we can get that fight over the line and get it made.
Thank you.
Take care, boys.
Cheers, gents.
Take care.
Great stuff.
Listen. You know, they've got a rivalry there.
But the reward, Adam, as well. You know, we
be.
talk about this so often. Like, we talk about the top end of boxing so often. These guys left a bit of themselves, a lot of themselves in their last time, and they're going to go and do the same again. And it's a fight fans want to see. The perfect staging place is a chief support to a big fight, because you know that the crowd's going to be in by then. You know it's going to deliver. Exciting, isn't it?
I'm in.
Yeah, me too.
Stick with us. You listen to Fight Night on talkSPORT. This is taking me back to it. This is where I was last week in Ibiza, man.
Oh,
So
no.
I left all that behind.
You did a bit of DJing around this time as well.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome to Fight Night. We're on talkSPORT. We are on talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel as well. We are streaming there live right now. You can get stuck into the comment section. The guest list has been action-packed. It's been thick, it's been full, and it's been quality as well, and it's going to continue that now. Because as well as next week, where we bring you Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte live commentary, we're also on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel going to be bringing you a bare knuckle event. It's coming from Denver, Colorado, over in the States, and one man that is participating in that is Kevin Greenwood, and he's very kindly joining us right now. Kev, how are you, mate? You good?
I'm all good. How are you?
Very well indeed, man. Very well indeed. I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about this art of bare knuckle, because when we speak about it on the show, some fight fans maybe turn away from it a little bit, say that it's a little bit too much for me, and I'm sure you've come across it yourself with various pockets of fight fans and sports fans having a little bit of resistance towards it. The more I study it, the more I start to appreciate it a little bit. You can obviously see, one, the cojones that are needed in order to participate in this thing, but then you can... There's a real pure art form to bare knuckle. Obviously, it's the traditional fight, I suppose, isn't it? Without obviously gloves and all that type of thing. There's a real purity to it. What has attracted you as a fighting man to this sport?
Mate, I was the same. Obviously, I come from a glove boxing background, and to be honest with you, I wasn't too interested in it. And then one thing led to another. A couple of guys, a couple of friends, have a look at this. And it's where it all started. I mean, boxing started without gloves, and you really have to adjust to it. The art of fighting is at its most honest and purest in the bare knuckle game, I believe, because you can't afford to get hit too many times. One punch in glove boxing can change a whole fight, but one punch, a jab in bare knuckle can end a fight. So the art is truly there. Not to get hit, to counter punch, to study your opponents and make sure you know their strengths and their weaknesses. I would say. I wouldn't say anything away from glove boxing, but I'd say you'd have to be a little bit more switched on if you want to come out there unscathed.
I was going to ask you that. Do you find yourself thinking more during the contest than you would do in a glove boxing match?
100%. In my last fight against Ryan Barrett, who's a great seasoned bare knuckle fighter, he hit me with this left hook, and I've been hit with hundreds of left hooks. But he's caught me clean in the mouth and the bottom jaw, just like the bottom row of my teeth. And I grabbed hold of him. And at that moment, I was thinking, have I still got my teeth here? And with my tongue, I was running them along the bottom of my mouth.
Counting them.
Counting the teeth. That's how much I was thinking about
That's certainly a bit of thinking going on. Kev, it's great to see you. Obviously, you're repping the Super Cruiserweight division and the UK against Julian Fernandez at the Stockyards in Denver, Colorado at BKB 44 next year. I've worked around you a lot now in the last year. There's two brilliant fights, title fights on there, of course, as well. Party Juarez against Courtney Cameron, and Henry, absolutely the rematch, and Henry Williams against Gavin Wright, which brings two weight divisions as well together. You're not the youngest man in the sport. You're certainly one of the toughest. How far? Well, I've got great respect for you. You're very much a gentleman fighter. Talk to us, I know, but talk to us about how resonant the sport is in terms of growing for the fighters at the moment, with the elision of the Americans and the British coming together under one banner with the BKB. How good does it feel as a fighter that the professionalisation of the sport is taken really seriously, the platform's growing the whole time? What does it mean to you within the sport?
Oh, mate, this is at the moment, it's a really exciting time for bare knuckle boxing. It's really exciting. I mean, the chances to go overseas and for the overseas fighters to come over here, and we're together under one roof, and we're sharing the ring, and we're sharing everything, blood, guts, and glory. I mean, there was never opportunities for me like this in the glove game. Do you know what I mean? And as you mentioned, I'm not the youngest. I'm no spring chicken. I'm 42, but I do believe the bare knuckle game is a more experienced man's game. I've always said, like, the glove boxing game is a young man's game, you know. And I do believe you need that little bit more experience, and you need to have been through the mill and experienced a few different things if you want to get the most out of the bare knuckle game. I don't think you can go in there as a complete, you know, spring chicken, not been through too much. But the way that the BKB is doing it now, you know, the chances to go overseas. I mean, obviously, as an English fighter, you're always looking at the Americans, you know, and you've always got that major respect for the American fighters, you know, these big names. You've got Malignaggi now, who's a legend in his own right, and he's boxing under the same banner now. You know, we're fighters, but at one point, I mean, we're all still fans, but at one point we started off as fans. And now to be, you know, being able to go overseas and be on the same bills as these guys, and seeing the sport grown the way it is. I mean, if you remember when UFC first started, everyone thought that was barbaric.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And now this is it's part and parcel. It's part of the combat furniture now. Do you know what I mean?
The excitement levels of 11 fights in a night, and it all taking place in just under 3 hours, 2 hours, 45 minutes, and there being lots of drama and lots of stoppages and lots of knockouts. You rightly mentioned there Paulie Malignaggi fighting Tyler Goodjohn in the main event in Bristol on September the 6th. I'm there for that, and it's live on the talkSPORT YouTube channel as well. What do you make of that contest? Because Tyler Goodjohn is rather like you. He's defensive as well as attacking. He's one of the most erudite bare-knuckle fighters out there. Are you giving Malignaggi much of a chance against him?
Mate, do you know what? Like, when I first turned pro, one of the first, you know, good sort of pro environments I was lucky enough to be in was going to a matchroom boxing gym. And as I walked in, it was already undergoing. It was probably about 5 minutes into it. But Tyler Goodjohn was there sparring against Ricky Burns.
Wow.
And they sparred for non-stop 30 minutes. And I was just in awe of it. Do you know what I mean? And that was years ago. And then we got on to see Anthony Joshua sparring. And it was just a great environment. So for me, when
Tony Sims' gym, correct? Yeah,
the matchroom gym.
Yeah. And when you've got someone like Tyler Goodjohn, who's done the pro boxing thing, and he's a bare knuckle legend.
He is.
And now he's fighting a pro boxing, an American pro boxing legend. You know, I mean, these are two massive names. You've got a massive name from bare knuckle fighting a massive name from the American pro boxing scene. This is like, you know, this is. You couldn't put a price on it for what the people are getting to watch. This is mega. Do you know what I mean? This shouldn't just be. This should be all over the place. Do you know what I mean? This is a massive, massive fight, and it's such a big thing for our sport. And hopefully, it draws all the eyes towards it.
Well, we'll have a good go at getting it everywhere, mate, on talkSPORT for you, pal. All right.
Yeah.
Listen, safe flight, mate. Enjoy it, and fingers crossed, we'll get to speak to you in the aftermath as a man with his hand raised. And victorious. What challenges are ahead of you come next Saturday night?
No different from the other. Do you know what I mean? I don't build people up too much. Have a look at his record. Julian Fernandez he's fought some really good pro boxers. He's fought Thomas Schwartz. He's fought some big names, but he ain't fought me yet. And this is a different game. He's come off the BKFC, I think, with a win.
Yeah.
But I take every fight as it comes. I learn on the job. I try not to read into people too much. I just try and adapt and control on the night. And I'm feeling really good, really confident. I'm coming off of a loss, but all that does is it just pushes me further to get a win. And I want to make my stamp in the US. Do you know what I mean? No one over there knows about me, but by the time I leave, they'll know my name.
Top man.
Great stuff, Kevin.
Great to hear from you, mate. Thank you very much. Safe flight over there, pal, and enjoy the week.
God bless. Peace and love.
Cheers, Kev.
There you go. Kevin Greenwood. You can see him in action next weekend on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel. We are bringing you the BKB 44 card. As Gareth pointed out, 2 title fights on there. Juarez versus Cameron, which is a rematch against. And
Brilliant
you've also
fight.
got Williams and Wright going at it as well.
2-weight world champions there as well, so it's brilliant.
And you've just heard Kevin Greenwood, who's on that card as well, representing the UK. And it's live on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel.
It's the biggest fight of my life and career.
Dillian, the body snatcher.
Everyone's saying no break. He is the biggest, hardest fight. The hardest puncher, the quickest puncher, the fastest guy.
Itauma is going looking for another showreel knockout. Moses Itauma can take him out right now.
The strongest guy, the most intelligent, the most patient is boxer.
He's a better mover than Mike Tyson, like a bit more fluid.
Oodles of natural talent.
I even phoned Dylan, like, Dylan, I don't know why you're taking this fight.
2 national titles, 3 European gold medals, and a world title. As a professional, I'm looking to replicate that.
Everyone portray him as a superhuman. That's how I'm approaching the fight. I'm fighting Superman.
Itauma! Oh, that's it!
If he can beat Dillian Whyte, then it's certainly the real deal.
Dillian Whyte is victorious!
This is live on talkSPORT next weekend. It's an action-packed fight as Moses Itauma, the hottest prospect in the heavyweight division, takes on Dillian Whyte in a fight that's taking place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and it's going to be live for you on the talkSPORT network. We'll have a watch-along on the talkSPORT Boxing YouTube channel, and you can listen along to commentary with the dulcet tones of John Rollins, Spencer Oliver, and this man to my left-hand side, Mr. Gareth A. Davies, out in Saudi. And I know that you're excited about getting out there. We spoke about this extensively at the start of the show. We've kind of picked the bones out the fight and how we think it might play out and what it means for both men. But this week, we kind of need it to be ramped up a touch, don't we? Because there could be a bit of a coming-of-age moment on Saturday night, but there also could be a moment where a man with an extreme amount of experience just shows the new dog that he's still got a few tricks up his sleeve.
The thing is about Dillian Whyte, and I've had the privilege and the pleasure of going very deep with him in interviews about his life, about being stabbed and shot and losing his father and the violence that he's grown up with around him and the transformation that's gone on in his life, and being a father at 13 and all of these guys. He's got a son in his 20s and he's only 37. He's an extraordinary man, Dillian Whyte, and he feels blessed to have survived and be alive. And he is a survivor. And for that very reason, there's a dog in him. He's a proud British Jamaican as well. He's a very big man. He's a big puncher. So all the people saying that Moses can wipe him out, that he'll use all that. The talk will grow, I think, through the week when we're around Dillian, if he's looking really fresh and fit and feeling confident, that let's not write this big man off. Big, bold, beautiful as he is. And I think my instinct is that we will start to talk him up a little bit more as the week goes on.
I think so. I think he's got that type of personality.
Yeah.
And I think once people see the shape that he's got himself in, because let's be honest, you can only go off the last few performances. The last 3, since losing to Tyson Fury, have been flat and they've been slow. And a lot of that has come down to maybe the level of opponent that he's fighting, whether he's been motivated for it, and whether he's been in shape. You can't say that from what I've seen so far coming into this. He looks like he's bang up for it. You'll get a bit more of a better picture throughout the course of the week. He needs all those things. He needs to be bang up for it. He needs to be in great shape. He needs to kind of roll back the years. He needs to give the performance that he gave against Joseph Parker. That's what he needs to do in order to have a chance of beating Moses.
You said it there, roll back the years. And when you roll back the years, if you go backwards... Jermaine Franklin gave Anthony Joshua problems as well, so I'm going to ignore that. He still won a majority decision against Jermaine Franklin. The rematch against Alexander Povetkin, in which he knocked Povetkin out.
That's where he's got to go.
The victory over a very good Oscar Rivas, by the way, very underrated fighter Rivas. The victories over Joseph Parker and Derek Chisora. The knockout of Lucas Brown. We are talking 2018, 19, 20. There, roll back the years, Dillian. Go and believe in yourself, because if you do beat Moses Itauma, you've really upset heavyweight boxing.
Yeah.
You've upset what people think is the script. You've beaten the #1 WBO. Whether he deserves to be #1 WBO is questionable, but you've beaten the guy, and you will get a very, very big fight afterwards. If not, a rematch with Moses Itauma, which is what will happen.
But from a Moses point of view, it's a wonderful opportunity to get a commercial name on that resume of his.
Why a commercial name?
Because I think he's crossed over a little bit, Dillian, especially with his fights with Anthony Joshua. I think he does resonate with the football fan as well as the boxing fan. When I say commercial, I mean mainstream.
Yeah.
Someone that's come away from the hardcore.
Okay.
He touches upon the casual as well. So I think that's a good thing from a Moses Itauma point of view. If you can get that victory next weekend, I think that then obviously pushes him forward towards the likes of the Gabriels and Parkers and stuff like that. Not Usyk yet. I said this at the start of the show. Not the Usyk yet.
Joseph Parker next.
Okay.
Joseph Parker next. Alexander Usyk next year if they can get Usyk in a ring with him.
Which of the fights on the undercard is jumping off that page for you? Which one are you most interested by?
Well, hearing Josh Kellyan with us earlier about how well David Adelaide's looked in training and Adam Booth, the Dark Lord in the corner with him, I'm looking forward to Adelaide letting his hands go. Nick Ball against Sam Goodman. Ball's got to be on form in that featherweight WBA title. He's got to be on form against Goodman. Mustn't let Goodman into the fight. Really looking forward to that. I mean, there's only, 5 fights? So, pick the best of the rest. Ray Ford and Hayato Tatsumi versus Kaz Ashfaq. They're all great fights. It's going to be a big, fast, exciting night.
If Nick Ball switched on, he'll come through something.
Yeah, I agree.
On the horizon, he's got a big fight. So fingers crossed he's switched on doing Nick Ball stuff because he's super exciting to watch. I agree with what you're saying. I am gobsmacked at the matchmaking of Filip Ergovic and David Adelaide.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? Fun fight.
Well, it's a wonderful opportunity for Adelaide.
It is.
You know, he was fighting for a British title. There was controversial ending. It was rebooked, and then all of a sudden he's now fighting at world level against Filip Ergovic. If he comes through that, he can kiss domestic level goodbye. He's eating at the very, very top table in his next fight. From a Hergovic point of view, we can't afford to lose that.